Oh, Todd. Oh, Todd. Let's go live. Let's do this sucker live. And then Todd,
he's got to peel the wallpaper off of his camera.
Hey, everybody. It's Friday night. It's Pontificators night. Welcome one and all. We are going to pontificate the shit out of God knows what. I'm not even sure we're in agreement on what we're going to talk about tonight. But I think it's loosely about crowdfunding and the success of crowdfunding. It seems like it's the only thing, as far as comics is concerned, that's doing well right now. And of course, Ethan Van Sciver just closed out his crazy, amazing campaign. We have Dan Fraga and his Black Flag that's doing killer. We had two new campaigns that launched, Comicsgate campaigns. We have Battle Maiden, and then we have Battle Brick Road. So we're going to talk about this stuff. We're going to highlight some of these campaigns and just talk about some cool campaigns that are coming out. And, of course, the Sean Gordon Murphy. Oh, my gosh, what is this? Zach 3D. Oh, there he is. And we have a special guest as well, but we don't have Todd. So I don't know how this is going to work. We're just going to keep Zach 3D in the green room forever. Because Todd's the only one who knows him, right?
Yeah, I don't know him.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's introduce the cast of characters. We have Chester Busby III. What's up, my friend?
Well, technically, it's Chester Cornelius Busby III, but I'll forgive you this time. I'm doing very well, Art. Thank you. I've had a great week. It's been raining for days.
Oh God. Yeah, it's been raining here all friggin' like weekend.
Mm-hmm. But
you're back to work, right? You're back to work.
I am back to work, and that is awesome. I've had a great bunch of classes. The kids are happy to be back in school. You see, where I live, the kids are actually studious, and they enjoy it.
No way.
Go figure.
Yeah. But I am.
What do you?
I'm drinking for Art today. He's officially nominated me as his drinker. I am doing, as has been pointed out, a very what should we call this, Joe? Knockoff ale.
Yeah, very generic. We were kidding off air that it's somebody in your basement that's brewing that and just slap the label. It's like
I cannot confirm or deny. Thank you.
Yeah, they couldn't even pay a good designer for the label. That's pretty sad.
Yeah, it's pretty good though.
It's all in the marketing. Apparently not. It's all in the taste with that brew.
It is. Well, it's not bad. Like I said, it is the local line. I do live in the countryside, but I don't like beer so much, but I like ale. I don't know what it is.
You realize how broken that statement is, right?
No, I don't.
So I'm guessing that it's probably lager that you don't like that much, because lager is mostly what, at least in America, we would call beer. But yeah.
Oh, you're talking about that piss water Budweiser? Yeah. If that's lager, then I don't like
Bud,
that.
No. Coors, Miller, that's all lager.
Oh God.
Rocky Mountain Bear piss, yeah.
You know what my favorite is that all the I guess hipsters think that what is that stuff called? Blue Ribbon Pabst?
Pabst Blue Ribbon, yeah.
Yeah, is actually like high-end beer. Like this was like ghetto beer even when I was a kid.
Yeah, sure. Like, absolutely like, ghetto beer.
In all the clubs and stuff around Orange County and here, that's all you can get. Is
sure, but that's not the ultimate ghetto beer. The ultimate ghetto beer is Michelob.
Michelob is upscale from.
I like Michelob, but it was certainly ghetto, dude.
Milwaukee.
You know what ghetto is like Colt 45.
Yeah. That's true. But now, where I grew up, I enjoyed Michelob myself, but all the black dudes always had a Michelob and a Newports, pack of Newports and Michelob.
Well, we did that, and we weren't even black. So the reason we got the Colt 45s is they had the 32-ounce cans, and you can buy one of those and save money and get a little buzz on.
Yeah, that's true, and that's why it's quantity. We were kids. We bought Busch by the case because it was like $8.
Did you guys
remember Mickey's Big Mouth? We used the little hand grenade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We used
Yeah.
to just drink those things like they were going out of style, and they had the wide mouth, so you just chug them.
Right,
I
right,
got-
right.
I got a cheaper beer than Pabst. A cheaper than Pabst. Old Milwaukee.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if they even.
I
make
think
that.
Bush was the bottom of the barrel, wasn't it?
Oh man, Old Milwaukee was worse.
Did you guys have Natty and Natty Light,
Natty Light,
out on
yeah.
the East Coast?
Yep,
No.
Natty Light. I remember
How
that
about Schlitz?
Oh
Schlitz,
god, yeah,
yep.
Slitch, of course. Yeah.
How you gonna run an establishment without some Schlitz malt liquor?
But Chester was Bush. Was that was Anheuser Busch, right? That was
It
like
was.
a Budweiser knockoff or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was when I was a kid, it was the dirt cheap beer that
Yeah.
the kids drank to get drunk. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was Bush was the ghetto beer for sure.
No. What real cheap ghetto people did was Old English 800, and I know that because that's what we used to buy.
Oh goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
I remember Old English.
Old English in the 40. Yep.
Yeah, but see, that all changed with the summer of Cisco.
Oh my god, man.
We shan't talk about the summer of Cisco.
Okay,
That's-
so we should move on over to Zach. Zach's got, I guess, something he really wants to say, or he's got a mat on. Somebody named Chester.
Mhm.
Hey, I don't know.
Hey, yesterday, we're going to Drawing Court. The first thing he says is, "You have to be an Eric," and then he's like, "Well, we're going to call you. What was it? The Red?"
The red, yes.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Well, who's the Red?" And he's like, "Oh, he's an asshole." And it's like, "Oh, okay." And the thing was, I was just not in the mood for it, so I ended up
No.
being an asshole all night.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
There's a stretch.
yep,
Yeah.
there we go.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Zach's drinking, so we have a major abuse coming our way on
That's true.
Pontificated tonight.
Oh,
What is-
by the
what
way,
what is he drinking?
feel free to. I'm drinking. It's Angry Orchard. It's a
Oh
hard
God!
cider.
Oh
God.
god, man. Turn
It's
in
all
your man card.
Now
Anywho,
it's gotta be
feel
Murphy.
free to swap me out with the other Zach that's in the waiting room when Todd comes in. It'll give me a chance to eat.
Okay, man, no
Mhm.
problem. Then we'll pop you back in after we get done with Zach 3D. We do have a guest, Zach 3D, and I apologize, Zach. I see you in the green room, but we have to do our introductions first, and then we'll bop Zach out, and then we'll bop 3D Zach in. We're gonna do a lot of bopping today. So is Todd? Todd, have you squared away your shit?
I have, except for my camera.
Okay.
So I'm working on it.
Oh, you don't work too hard.
It's like Todd reinvents the wheel every time he comes on the show.
This way you don't see me make faces at Chester for every, kick in the shin he gives me.
Well, I
Todd,
hear
you're
the
so-
exasperation. So
Todd, you're known for not making and not reacting to things. That's your shtick. Your shtick.
Right.
Wow, you don't pay attention to my show at all. Damn.
Well, at least on this show it is. Yeah. I know Todd can zing. Yeah. So Todd, what you been up to? Getting stuff done for Florida Man? What?
Yeah, I've been getting back some colored pages and stuff, so we'll be ready to launch. We just don't want to step on Nexus, because Nexus launched and funded in the first day, so we're just not going to step on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no stepping. We don't like that. Joe likes to step on people, but we don't. The rest of us, no.
Get to
That's
stepping.
right. Although
Yeah.
I'm into boot scooting.
Boot scooting? Are you in the curb stomping?
Well, I used to be. Yeah, actually.
I saw a guy get curb stomped once. Holy crap, man! That guy was
I've
asking
been
for
curb
like
stomped.
shit.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy was so abusive. It was a hit and run. We were partying in my friend's band. Yeah, we were partying in a band. It was like up in smoke, right? There's just smoke coming out the back and everything.
Yeah.
And so this guy just comes around, just sideswipes the whole band and
Oh.
takes off. And luckily, he damaged his radiator in the process, so he only got a block or two. And so we had this guy. He was a bouncer on the block. His name was Mike Martin. And so it would probably be you, Chester. And so everybody's like, "Get Mike, get Mike!" So Mike comes out and just pulls that guy out of the car once he, realized what had happened. And just that guy put up a little bit of a fight, but that's all Mike needed to destroy that man.
Oh, yeah.
And when the cops came, apparently this guy had been sideswiping cars and stuff. Like he was just a pain in the ass. So when the cops came around, He said, "Which one of you guys did it?" And being the old neighborhood, nobody like copped to it. And then the cop just goes, "Whoever it was, I'd like to thank, because this guy's been sideswiping and just whacking cars all over the place." So that guy was clearly inebriated. So we got that guy off the street. So way to go, Mike.
And then everybody went, "Oh, it's me, it's me, it's me. It's a reward. Hey, it's me, it's me."
No. The one thing you don't do around that neighborhood is cop to anything, man. We knew that.
Never ever speak to the cops.
Snitches
That's
get
general
stitches.
rule.
And just if there's any youngsters out there listening, if the cops are coming and there's a bunch of you guys partying in the park, all run in different directions because they can't get all of you.
That's right.
Dude, every party that got busted, that always ended with scatter.
Yeah, don't run with the crowd, man, unless you're faster than the crowd. If you're faster than the crowd, it's okay. But yeah.
Chip somebody.
And serpentine.
Yeah. Always
serpentine.
It makes it harder for them to shoot you. Hey, Joe, what's
God.
up, man?
I'd love to see Todd Serpentine. That would be worth the admission, dude.
Just imagine my face. I can't make it right now, but just imagine.
Well, Zach 3D is making it off panel here. He's making it for you. Look at that face. Yeah. So what's up, Joe?
Oh,
Just tell him what happened earlier today when I invited you on a live stream.
Oh, so earlier today, Art asked if I'm available to stream, and I said, "Well, I'm good for the 6 p.m. show, but I've got dad work the rest of the day, and so I'd like to join, but I can't. I'm busy." And then Art says, "Well, have a good show." I'm thinking, "Well, you're going to be there, right?" And I said, "The 6 p.m. show I'm going to be on is yours. Unless I'm missing something. Is it canceled?" And then Art, I don't know. Did you check a calendar?
Yeah, I did. Somehow I miscounted a day today or this week. Yeah. So, and then you said, "Way to go, Gramps," or something like that.
Oh yeah, I said insert senile old artist joke here.
Yeah. So so that was our little exchange earlier. It would have been a good show too, Joe, if you were there. Yeah.
I have to say, that link that you dropped to that documentary about Superman, it was cool seeing hipster Art.
Yeah.
Hipster
My
Art
hair's black, right?
with the ponytail pulled back.
Drug years, yeah.
Everybody
was
saying I had a
cool.
ponytail, but I don't think I did have a ponytail in the.
It looks like you do, man. It looks like,
right?
yeah.
You had one at one time?
Yeah, I think in the drawing, the page when they zoom in, I got a ponytail, but I think in the actual interview I didn't. Yeah, I was a good clean boy.
I know I've seen you
clean cut
in one of these documentaries, whether it was this one or a different one.
Oh yeah, that was when I was slowly getting rid of the mullet.
Yeah.
I was doing
Art was on like step 8 of his 12-step.
I was
Right,
12 mullet. Yeah.
Mullets are hard to drop, man. I know.
Yeah. Well, it went from the long hair on the side to the mullet to the business in front, party in the back, and then it slowly just became the ponytail. And then,
Art, did you have a rat tail?
No, I never had a rat tail. Oh, I could see
I did.
rat tail.
I had a Viking rat tail though. It was coming down here.
Jeez.
Coming down the side of my head.
Why am I not shocked? That was a good call, Bob. You knew one of us had one of those.
Yeah.
I knew somebody had one at one point, man. Like I had the mullet and I had the shaved sides mullet, but I never had a rat tail. That was the one thing I've never had one of those.
I had a rat tail in elementary school and a mohawk in high school.
Yeah, I had the when I went from the because I started losing my hair, I went from the mullet to the mohawk.
Wait a minute, you were losing your hair, Bob, in high school?
I started getting the widow's peak thing a little bit in high school, man, and I was like, I'm just gonna, because I was like, if I just shave it off, no one will know.
I knew a guy that went completely bald in high school. It was horrible.
Yeah, I knew a
that
guy that was
sucks.
like that too, man.
Yeah,
Dude, started wearing do-rags and stuff.
it was before the do-rag movement, so that guy would have been saved by, what was that Brett Michaels from Poison or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Or Axl Rose. Yeah.
Which, by the way, a lot of those rockers, that's the reason why they wore those things. Is because
Probably.
they were covering up that it was creeping back. That forehead was growing. Because you
Poor
notice
Zach.
that they
I feel-
started like this, and then they just started
Yeah.
getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
this guy
I
within
feel bad
6
for
months,
Zach
I think,
because
lost all his hair.
he can't relate, and he's an asshole. It sucks, man.
ASSHOLE. Everybody, ASSHOLE. I'm gonna
Raise the house.
Mhm.
All
Oh
right,
my god.
is this the part? Oh, wait, we gotta touch base with Bob.
I think I've already inappropriately touched every base. So
He
Yeah,
did. He did.
It was just a technicality at this point, Bob. I just didn't want you to feel left out.
but we got someone waiting in the green room, and he's been really patient.
Yeah, you never have to introduce Bob because Bob is, he introduces himself. All right, this is the part where we bop out one Zach for another Zach, and we'll pop you back in once we get 3D in here. And then Todd, are you going to do some driving here? You going to do some?
I actually learned about Zach through Joe. Joe mentioned that he had heard that he wanted to get into printing comics. So, obviously there's questions, but let's let him give us what his plan is, what's his business model, what he can handle, what he's already done, and see what he has to say about that.
So first off, welcome 3D Zach. You are legendary within the community. So welcome to Pontificators. And yeah, if you could fill us in, like Todd said, and let everybody know what's going down.
Dude, right before you get started, I love that hat. Your mic's muted, brother.
You're
Nah,
muted.
it's not muted. I'm just letting
Oh.
He's acting. Oh, he's the asshole. All right.
He's basking in the
I
glow.
found it. He's
I take
taking
it
over.
back. The hat sucks.
All right.
Well, like,
We exchange one for the other. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. No, that's actually is a cool hat.
I was
What do they
thinking-
call that again? I forget what they call that hat.
I don't know. It's a short top hat of some sorts. I got it from the Steam Emporium at one point a decade ago. So
Yeah, it's cool though.
He looks a little bit like James
on the
West
top.
from Wild Wild West.
hey, there you go. I like that.
I was thinking more of Slash, but all right.
It's not tall enough for Slash.
Well, cool. So, hi everybody. I am 3D Zach, or just Zach, if you really want. I am another one of the Comics Gate creators. I always have a project in the works, but nobody will ever know about it until it's really ready to hit the ground running. But in the meantime, I've put together a printing press, and I priced out being able to print out comics and be able to offer people a fair price for effectively small run stuff. I can mix them pretty readily, and I can work with you as far as like getting formatting and doing editing and things of that nature. And as far as the projects that I've got going on right now, we have two of them going. One of them, this is a proof copy of Iron Skies.
Can you
It's a
maximize
really-
him, Mark?
Yeah, hold on.
What's that?
But we're gonna put you on Kiss Cam.
Wait,
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
wait.
That was. I don't want to kiss art. Damn. There we go.
There you go.
Wait till the third beer, Art. He'll be all over you.
I will be.
I hope. I mean, what?
Hey, so Iron Skies is already fulfilled on Indiegogo, right? It's already completed.
Yes, and I was one of the people that backed it, and we got a backer update to say that Mike, stop that. All right, so we got a backer update to say that he didn't have enough money to be able to do the printing for fulfillment, and I hit him up. I was like, hey, where are you getting your printing done? I can probably beat their price, and I made him an offer that he couldn't refuse, and we've been working together to be able to get this thing ready to go and ready to ship. And as soon as I print out the, I don't know, like 600 copies that he's going to eventually buy from me, then I'll drive them down to Kansas because I'm not too far away from him, just about a 10-hour drive, and put them in his hands, and he'll be able to send them out to the backers.
So what's considered a small run? Like if somebody had 50 books, you would be able to do that, or what's your kind of like cutoff?
If you put it in the number of pages, I'd probably put it at about 60,000 pages. Would be a small run for me.
Okay, what is that like book wise?
That would be if you've got a 48-page book, you would need 1,200 books.
Okay, so 1,200 books is considered a pretty good size print run, isn't it?
It's a day. It's one day. That's all. After we get all the print files ready to go and everything ready for print, and we get everything approved as far as like the trimming of the edges, the where everything's supposed to be located, get all your gutters, everything ready to go, and whatever type of binding that you're looking for. Yeah, it's a day. That's all I'm looking for.
Okay, so if somebody had like 100 like print run, like let's say a 60-page book, would you be able to do that as well?
Yeah. Anything like I've had a number of people contact me, and it's down to about 100 issues or 100 books. And I kind of put that as about my minimum, if only because I'm still doing all the pre-press work. I'm doing everything to be able to like actually set it up for my printer and get it ready to run. That takes time. And then there's a communication back and forth for getting everything as far as like approved as to, is this good enough for what you're looking for? And that takes time. And so anything like smaller than that, we can work with that in the future, especially if you want me to be like a print on demand source for you. But yeah, about 100 books that's fine.
Is that what do they call that? Like, is it printed or is it what do they call that? Where it's Xerox, not Xerox, but
there's a number of printing methods. So you're going to be looking at, for me specifically, it's dry toner, and that's a printing press coming off of a Canon C800 image press system. So that's not going to be like you would do with, say, a web press or an offset printing. Exactly.
Okay.
The cool thing about that is I can literally print off one copy. It costs me as much to print off one copy times 100 to print 100 copies. So for the offset printing process, you have to etch plates. You have to get that whole setup ready to go. There's time constraints. There's communication restraints. And you're going to, just depending on what you're looking for, I might be the proper source for you. So.
Okay. No, I have a book that I might be running it by you and seeing if I can get a price from you, like a small, maybe God, what was I looking at? Maybe 300 books.
That's easy.
What's the turnaround on that? That's Robert Romano asked that question. So like, what's usually a turnaround like from print to like drying and then shipping?
Well, depending on our communications, because that seemed to be like the longest determining factor of any of these sorts of things, is I'll work on this stuff usually on my days off. I usually work a 12-hour day, 7 days a week, and then a 7 days off period. But if we could communicate, especially during my time off, I can print a couple of samples for you, and I can eventually just send them out to you. And effectively, we're looking at about 2 weeks, especially if you're going to have like good communication with me. Because if we're gonna have communications back and forth, and I ask you a question about some formatting issue or something that you need to actually give me your preference on, and you give me like hanging for 24 hours, well, that's gonna add another day to it, so I can't really do anything about that. But as far as like actual time wise, yeah, 2 weeks, especially for a 300 page or a 300 book project, yeah, that's pretty easy. 2 weeks, put in.
Wow. That's great. Yeah. Do you do other things too, like trading cards? Do you do, like ash cans,
prints, that kind of thing?
Yeah, prints.
Yes. So one thing that we have here is this is Tales of Humidity. This is Narwhal. He's putting out this as an extra to his foreign agent book, and he's specifically hired me to be able to do this ash can for him. And so it's color front and back. Glossy cover with a matte interior. Kind of, he wanted a manga-esque style feel to it, and so that's what I accommodated, and so that's what we're going for. And doing ash cans, absolutely no problem. They're significantly cheaper, really quick to do. It still comes down to about that number of pages that I kind of threw at you at the beginning, though. So like that is the limitation of the print press, is number of pages. And soon I'll have another press and I'll have more equipment to be able to work with. But the options are growing as we speak. I'm currently looking at sourcing some holofoil, reflective prismatic print material And so I'll be able to do foil covers. In fact, if you want to like at some point kick me off, I can go get you my paper book sample and I can show you what I'm actually playing around with right now.
Cool.
Are you actually are you buying an actual press at some time?
I have it. It's behind me. It's 12 feet long, weighs a little over a ton, takes 220 volt power, and I've been tuning the thing up, trying to get it to be able to do everything that I want in as automated of a process as I can get. So, and then the guy that I bought the press from, I'm buying another one from him.
Man, you talk about
cool,
independent with this lockdown. You know, you're a one-man operation here. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's what we want to hear, man. That's awesome.
Mighty Joe Young did have another question.
I'm a bit of I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a bit of an enthusiast with this whole thing. So I did the pricing on me being able to do a print run with like 1,000 books with what I'm looking to do and a number of covers and just go crazy with it. And after I priced it out, I was like, I might as well just buy the press. Like,
I know a couple of artists that for the metal prints and stuff, they went and they got the equipment so they could do it themselves.
Yeah, there you go. You could just need an Epson sublimation printer. Get one that's like the 28 or 32 inch. You're out to like $6,000 tops, and then the material is your largest expense at that point. So, yeah, this stuff is really feasible if you've got the space, if you've got the power, and if you got the time and know how to be able to do that to work. Yeah, you got it.
There's a good question for you here from Mighty Joe Young.
Yeah.
What about binding?
Like can you do like the square binding and stuff like that?
So yeah, the square binding, also known as perfect binding, definitely I can do that. There was a $800 machine. It's pretty much the standard for a print shop. It uses a type of hot glue melt that goes along the binding strip. Uses a scoring method to be able to score the spine to the system, and I practiced operating it. I can usually make a book every 45 seconds to a minute, and that is about my maximum capacity.
Is that because of the dry time?
Well, it is put the cover into the system, score it, put the interior parts of the book into it, line it up, clamp it into the system, rotate it so that the cover is primed, ready to go into the interior of the book, have your hot glue melt actually hot and ready to be applied, apply it back and forth, fold over the cover onto the system, clamp it into place, wait 10 seconds, unclamp it, boom, book's done. Oh, well, and then you've got trimming. So you throw it on a guillotine afterwards and you trim your edges.
That's cool.
Cool.
You don't
And then
trim every book individually, do you?
What's that?
You don't trim every book individually, do you?
My printing press is 19.3 inches wide. I can fit about 8 books on it at a time.
Oh, okay.
So it's not individually, but like I'll be able to do individual stuff later on if I really want to, because I used to do leather working. So I was like, I wonder what it would take to do leather bound books. So I've got a source for hardbound books as well.
All right, Zach,
CMYK. So it's a standard 4-color CMYK system. So that's the Adobe InDesign converts it to CMYK pretty readily. And after that, it's got a color balancing system that is a 32-bit or a 32 laser array on the Canon system to be able to really tune it up to whatever you're looking for. And that's why I do the pre-press stuff, especially for people that have just created something completely digitally and they haven't seen it in a physical form yet. I want you to be able to hold it to see, it's like, maybe we can make this brighter, maybe we could adjust the saturation of this. Definitely all within the realm of possibilities, but we have to be able to communicate and do that.
And that's one of the things that you got to remember about printing is that when it goes from a digital format to a physical format, the colors are going to change because of just the inking.
Right, because you're dealing with, at max, your brightest is white because that's the color of the paper. Everything else is going to detract from that. And I've been playing around with options to be able to do stuff with that. And that's when you get into like prismatic colors and it becomes a whole ordeal. But it's definitely possible to play around. And so,
do you run proofs if the customer asks?
Absolutely. We're going to always, well, I intend to always run proofs. I keep saying we. It's a company of one, so yeah.
No, it's better to say we. Always say we.
Yeah, always say we. Build yourself up a little bit, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
The year, May, forever.
If you say we, Zach, then you have a scapegoat built into your business model.
His name is always Bob, by the way.
It's James. James's fault. James.
Yes. I wanted to make something a comment offhand. It doesn't really matter, but Canon is actually from the town I live in.
Cool.
Well, congratulations.
Well, I didn't have much to offer, Art.
And that's today's tidbit from Professor Chester.
Where I'm from, they used to make train air conditioners. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm
Some-
sure there's other things made there too, but whatever.
Other problem.
Like beer in your basement, Chester.
Oh, there you go.
I'm in the kitchen.
No, your beer came from the basement of your building, though.
That's fair. That is fair. Yeah.
I just see a little old, like, Japanese guy, in the basement making your beer.
I got him tied down with rice straps. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Man, I remember I went out to. Have you guys ever had homemade wine? This is a little off the topic, but oh my gosh, it was Nick Barucci's dad, right? So Nick Barucci runs Dynamite, so I was hanging out with him, and his family is just they're sweethearts, right? So we're at the table and we're all sitting, all his brothers, his whole family's there, and so only one person has a glass of wine in front of them, and it's me. And I'm like, what's going on here? And I didn't say it out loud, so I'm just eating and stuff like. So I take a drink, and they're all watching me like hawks, right? Like, and so I drink it, and then they're like, "So, what do you think?" And I'm like, "It's okay." And then they're like, "Yeah, it's horrible, right? My dad made it." And I guess he stomps grapes in the basement. I just thought it was hilarious. So I was like, yeah. So at least, I was semi-diplomatic with my response. And you know what? I was always taught, no matter what your host makes or gives you, you eat and drink it all. So I drank that whole glass.
Art, my dad's from Kentucky and my mom's from West Virginia. I've tried some homemade freaking wine and alcohol. Trust me on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I might start my own wine business just so I can have the little girls crushing on the grapes. That'd be fun.
Well, if you could.
And Chester takes it someplace creepy. All right.
I remember a Welch's grape juice wine kit that you could do. It came with a
all right,
it's a little fermenting packet you put into a bottle of Welch's grape juice. It had some sugar in there, and you put a balloon on the top of it. The fermentation created a whole bunch of carbon dioxide and blew the balloon up. And then whenever the balloon completely collapsed, you knew the wine was done. I remember that stuff.
That's
you
cool.
can buy that at the store?
Yeah.
Dude,
there was a time when it was like, you got to remember, Art, and you should know this because you've been around longer than everybody. There was a time when people weren't so freaking uptight.
Sorry, I'm from the South. Maybe that was like a Southern thing.
No.
I'll tell you right now, Welch's grape juice has crack in it because there's no way that's like normal. Like that stuff is so delicious.
Yeah, it's called 15 pounds of sugar, Art.
Yeah.
I know, but I think they say it's natural, but I don't think it is. Yeah.
Now, I do have a question. Just get back on point, 3D Zach. You said you had it right behind you, so you have yourself a bunch of rooms. So, is this a house, or did you convert some little mini warehouse, or how do you have that kind of room?
I have a house in Wisconsin. It's got a full basement that's finished for the most part. And I was able to run 220 volt power to my system and set it up. I've got the space for it, so why not? I've got space for another one. I've got space for more equipment. I've got a studio set up. I've got we've got a wall of stuff for everybody that does this sort of thing. I've got a wall of effectively Spawn action figures or McFarlane Toys action figures. So this is my office. This is actually a separated room that is where my main computer setup is. So
I see. Yeah, the Spawn figures come in real handy if you need to stop the cogs.
What's that?
Oh no, nothing.
Zach did me again, so he's referring to Bob. He's getting it. He's going to have his scapegoat, his imaginary scapegoat.
All right.
Is Bob back there right now? Let's see Bob. Pull the curtain. Yeah, like Oz.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Bob's like pulling levers and everything.
Yeah. But no, in all seriousness, Zach, this is very cool, dude. Wow. We've been talking about people stepping up and getting involved in distribution, printing, all those kind of things. A lot of us we're too busy with our real lives to do things like that. So it's really cool that you're doing that. I appreciate it, and I know a lot of people do. So thank you.
And hopefully we're going to bring a lot of projects to life with this sort of thing, because like being able to meet that small minimum for a lot of people, well, you become profitable at like 100 or 200 or 300 units, but when you start to get printing then that really eats into that. So, and the other thing is fulfillment is I've already arranged with the guys that formerly ran the comic shop around my town. The local comic shop shut down in March. He was actually planned at the beginning of the year to shut it down, so it wasn't anything COVID related. It was just that it wasn't putting any money in the bank for retirement or anything.
No, it's diamond related. We know.
Yeah. Oh well, but I already arranged with him. I was like, hey, if you want to be my book handling boy, then yeah, I'll give you a call and we can work out like contractual, like per job basis, and I can hire you as contract labor, and you can knock out the stuff. It'd be like weekend projects effectively. And looking at what other people have been able to do, I mean, you can, if you dedicate 8 hours per day on a weekend, you can ship out 1,000 books a weekend pretty readily. So,
well, I'll tell you, like when I first did my first Kickstarter, my first crowdfund, we came in at about 350 books, right? And so we already did, our homework and realized like most price breaks as far as printers are at 1,000 units. And most of them won't take anything under 1,000 units. And so I have a friend at Lamppost, and thank goodness he was able to do this. But he said, I'll talk to my, because he knows a couple of vendors in China and things. And so he worked out a deal where I could get 500 books printed. And I was so thankful, because 1,000 at the amount that we funded, 1,000 would have broke, there wouldn't have been any profit in it at all. So even though I was paying more per unit, it still ended up becoming cheaper and then more profitable for me in the long run, even though it was a smaller print run. And so I was always so thankful that I was able to do that, because the 1,000 print run would have broke me. And so people like you, especially here in the States, you don't have the time delay. You don't have all the oh my gosh, the paperwork for the ports and all the import stuff. And my poor wife, when we did black and white, all the paperwork, and then just the delays. I mean, there's all kinds of unforeseen delays that happen when you're shipping from China. So I think your service is definitely going to be big time for a lot of people. And just like me, where you can start small. We started 350, backers, and then with black and white, we did 1,300 or something like that backers. You know what I mean? So campaigns can grow, and for somebody like yourself that can provide that service for some of the smaller print runs, I think it's invaluable. And I'm so thankful that Todd brought you to the show. And if there's anybody listening out there, how can they get a hold of you, Zach?
Well, currently the easiest way to get a hold of me is I'm at 3DZach on Twitter. I'm at comicsgateprint at gmail.com. So you can send an email there. That's going to be the official business email until I launch my website. And then hopefully I'll have a website soon enough to be able to do a number of other things that we need to do in this community that we're not doing right now. So I've got a number of plans, especially with cross promotion and being able to include various things for insert add-ons that aren't necessarily advertisements that people can include in books that I can hopefully effectively sell to the person that's looking to print a book, to the person that is currently printing a book. And if they include an add-on for, hey, this is a preview for a book that's coming in, a month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months or whatever. And then we can detract from whoever is currently the price of the current person printing books. And so cross-promotional methods in that aspect, a hard forum system for artists looking for writers looking for artists. That seems to be a constant problem because the lifespan of a tweet on Twitter is like 12 seconds. A video on YouTube is a day.
No. 12 years, friend. 12
years. It's 12 years if somebody's got like a hard on for you and they're looking to like screw up your life. If somebody's looking to
he brought up hard-ons, not me, Art. Just keep that in mind.
Oh my gosh. We're not even hours, Chester. You gotta.
Hey, I'm drinking. It's your fault.
Yeah.
I've unified my name.
God's sake, man.
Yeah, Dillard, you shut up about the hat. The hat's awesome.
That is awesome. Diller's an asshole anyway. Sorry.
I've unit some of my branding across the board. So it's I'm 3D Zach for the most part. That's 3D ZACH. That's there's a YouTube channel as well. I don't even know what random stuff I'm gonna end up putting on there. I'm sure it'll be like goofy stuff as well as like very informative stuff involving printing. So things of that nature. I can easily be reached in that manner and ask around. I mean, I might not be able to help everybody, but I can definitely help a lot of people. So.
Yeah, and you actually answered the question that was in the chat about what the max run for the books was. You said it's at 4,000.
Right. In what I've seen so far, as soon as you get into doing the web press or the what was it? Inline press? No, that's not the right press.
Well, I got a picture here. Is this the kind of press you use? Art, can you show the picture I have?
Oh my gosh.
I'm half scared because there's a 50-50 chance that, okay, no, this is a normal picture. All right.
No.
I was the same way. That's why I was on a delay there, Bob.
That's more of a web press. That's or offset printing. That's offset printing right there. For me, let's see. Well, I mean, like we can bring up actually.
So you're what's often referred to as a digital press. Is that right, Zach?
Yes.
Okay.
So, but that is there's fun limitations to go along with any of these things. I can set things up and set it running faster than a web press or an offset press can do. I can do smaller runs than them. Once, like I put in the chat, around 4,000 units, I get priced out pretty readily. And so below that, you can get me to do stuff and actually be profitable.
Like this?
That's much older.
Oh God damn it!
I have a question for Zach.
Maybe this one. This one.
Go for it.
My question's about what I've been seeing in current comics as far as the amount of K. And you're talking about you're printing in CMYK. So I've been seeing as high as 52K on covers and stuff like that. So is that something that your printer can also handle? Because the old standard was not to go over 20 or so was the kind of the rule, but I saw it in a bunch of Conan, the current Conan. There was a lot of really dark colors, and they didn't get muddy, and they didn't get you didn't lose the crispness of the colors because of the amount of K. So anything you can speak to that?
So that is something that you will run into specifically with offset printing. It's because it's a liquid-based system, and as you press more and more liquid onto the paper, you get darker and darker colors. Your K specifically in that system is going to refer to it's your black, right?
Right.
And so you're going to have your blackest blacks, and anything that's going to dither off of that, anything that's going to be a separate color but also black, then you've got a limit as to how far that's going to get. As far as like me and what I do, let's see. I've got actually, like, if you can, go to the kiss cam on this one, I can show you like how far it approaches black, and that's not in focus at all.
Shiny.
If you can, it's shiny because it's a gloss cover. So if you can actually see, like, we've got secondary feathers in here. So what they're talking about is how far can you approach black but not actually reach black. And so solid black is its own thing, but everything else, how your shadows, either your shadows are going to get completely muddied and fall into the solid black region, or they're actually going to be able to be distinguished. And so for my system, you can probably get 40K pretty readily and not have a problem and still be able to distinguish stuff without having any muddying. So if you're really into the technical side of things of that nature, I can also adjust the total amount of toner that I'm applying in the system to be able to play to that if that's something that you need. So,
and that's where the proof process can come in to play as well. So what Zach can do is he'll run you a proof, and then you can decide whether it's a little heavy, more, too saturated or not. I have seen later on in print runs where things get light as well. I remember the old Marvel print runs. Always you could tell the beginning of a print run because it'd be really, really saturated. The middle would be perfect, and the end they would be a little light. The pages would be a little light. So there are different stages, but I don't think you're, like if you're printing, a smaller amount, I don't think you'd have that kind of problem, that kind of inconsistency.
And
What is this Muddy Joe Young question here? I'm just curious.
What's that part?
48 pages?
At 48 page max? No, that's not a max. 48 pages, actually, if you want to put limitations and things of that nature, so we have right here, it's a 52 page book that's saddle stapled. So it's a saddle staples on the spine, and it's 52 pages total.
Yeah, and I think with saddle stitch you can go to what, like 90 pages, like 92 pages, something like that.
It all depends on the thickness of your book. So for what we've got here is a 80-pound interior text glossy sheets, and it ends up being an 80-pound cover for the exterior. So that's a 116 GSM interior and a 216 GSM exterior. And for something of this nature, which I'm kind of looking to make this about my standard, because this is the local stock that I can get readily cheapest and just available amounts, I would be able to do, this is 52 pages total. I'd probably be able to do 96 pages pretty readily with just the saddle staples. And after that, get going into the perfect bound.
Art, has he been a guest on Ethan or Zach's channel yet?
I don't know. Ask him.
Me?
Have you?
I have. I've been a guest on Ethan's channel before. I pitched him at one point because he had the executive honeycomb box, and I was like, "Hey, who are you gonna have print these calendars for you?" Because he needs a bunch of calendars that are comic book sized, to 2,500 of them. It seems like a pretty small run. That's 12 2-page spreads, but I was like, oh yeah, I probably did that in about a day. And as soon as he wants to get back with me, that'd be great. But
yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying because getting more exposure would be good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a great service. Yeah, and there's a lot of people that kind of fall between the extremes. And I think, just like good business, see a need, fill a need. So that sounds like exactly what you're doing, that there are people that might have like smaller print runs, and that they still need books and they still need to fulfill to their backers. And I think this is a great service. And also, just like even like with Chrono, we have the work in progress book, and then we have the variant cover collection. So there are some books that are smaller print runs, and it might make more sense for us to go with somebody like you, Zach, than go with all the go through China and all that other stuff. And actually, I would like to vary some of my vendors as well, because sometimes what happens is if you put all your eggs in one basket, you can get into trouble that way. And I've noticed the few years I've been doing crowdfunding, I've done it naturally and organically, but I think it's the best way to work with many vendors on things. And then if something happens, then you can course correct without, complete devastation.
Sure. I'm sorry, Art. I have to interject. I do apologize. But there's an important update, an emergency that needs to be addressed. Joe just blinked.
We think about a half Liam. Yeah, that's about right.
Not quite orange enough.
No,
yeah. I was defending your honor, by the way, sir.
I've got my light balance in here properly. I've got a low balance and I've got a high balance, so not doing too bad here.
And actually,
you're more pink.
People in chat are thinking, that you're Liam Gray.
Oh God, no.
Oh, so Art, one of the other things that I would be really able to apply myself to is all of the small things as well, because we've got anybody that wants to do trading cards or bookmarks or business cards or things of that nature, things that are going to be fairly small runs, things that are just going to be your add-ons, your includes, things of that nature. I can definitely help with that as well. So
I'll be doing that for the trading cards. I'll send you a message and give you a print run. and see what your price is, and just kind of compare it around and see. And your turnaround is exceptionally fast, so I really like that as well.
Right. We were kind of running into, especially what was it, the Vestige campaign. One thing that I really didn't like about what ended with that was that they shipped it freight via DHL, and it got held up, and they weren't able to get their books for like a week or two or something of that nature. And like I said, for this Iron Skies book, it would cost me an exorbitant amount to be able to ship it to Kansas, but like I'll just drive it. I mean, if I can meet somebody halfway, it doesn't really work for the coastal guys. I'm sorry, but if you're in the middle of America, then I can really help you. We can just drive stuff to each other.
So Zach, you wouldn't drive it to the West Coast like somebody like myself, no?
Chip. Man, Vegas? Can we meet in Vegas at least? I would drive.
Where's the personal touch, Zach? Where's the personal touch?
Come on.
You had me to that, man. You had me to that.
Yeah. Vegas is a good midway point, so we could actually knock a couple back and do some gambling. And
there you go. Like Vegas is like 4 hours from LA, and it's not too bad. But I have to get over the mountains, and I have to deal with California if I meet you in Vegas.
Nobody wants to go to California right now.
Can
we throw any of your links in the chat for you so that people know?
Yeah, I threw his Gmail.
Thank you, Bob. Because I'm still
there you go, Bob. Bob's a good boy.
I got his Twitter handle in there earlier. Zach, I got a question for you. You mentioned trading cards, bookmarks, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
How are you set up as far as posters? What I've seen so far has been anything from 6x9 mini prints up to 24x36 in some of these campaigns.
Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for bigger, currently I'm going to only be set up for about a 13x19, as big as I can get, and that's going to have a 3/16 gutter to the outside of the edges of it. So if you can deal with that in a 4-color, I can really knock them out for you. In the future, what I'm looking at is a 12-color, 36-inch Epson printer to be able to do much more complicated things like that. If you want your bigger prints, if you want your bigger posters, but that's something that it seems to be niche enough that I can't justify the $4,000 printer price at that one. So, but in the future, I mean, like anything's possible.
Do you have a limit on your 11x17 prints?
No.
Of what
it's as difficult to do an 11x17 print as it is to do a 2-page spread. So
if we had like say 50 of them, it'd be no problem.
Oh, it's really easy to set up in the pre-press as well. And so, I mean, yeah, that's really easy. Your problem with that one ends up becoming like shipping becomes a little bit of a hassle with that.
You got to roll them up, or big old box. Yeah, that box could be quite heavy and bulky.
I had one of the most clever shipping methods be a piece of original art sent to me from Doug Tenaple, and that was it was a flat rate priority mail USPS box, and normally wouldn't fit an 11x17 sheet in it, but he shipped it not assembled as a box, but just flattened. And it still cost the same amount. So it was a priority mail. It was like $8 to send it. And he had it sleeved in one of the plastic liners and had a backing board on it. And it was just like, oh, I would never have thought of this. This is very clever. So if you want like 50 11x17 prints, that becomes a very viable option. So
seriously, okay, yeah, that's a good thing to think about. Because I've been going with some local vendors, but I'll just be honest, man. When the local vendors find out what I charge for things and stuff like that, they get a little uppity.
I got my Flask comic book, Bob. If you can see the Assassin's Creed logo,
the real men are taking over right now,
dude. Don't make me break out the bourbon.
Oh, you mean this?
I got 6 years in the Navy. I don't do beer anymore. I'm sorry.
God, it's my wife's beer. What do you want? I have no choice.
I hear you guys talking
God.
about Pabst Blue Ribbon, and Pabst Blue Ribbon and a shot of Jack Daniels is a pretty good night. So,
Oh God.
Yeah, beer takes too long, man. I get bloaty. Yeah, just go for the hard stuff.
I'm more refined these days. I don't drink common things.
so that was one of the
Dude.
things I'm into art as well is like I was looking at being able to add fold-in posters and things of that nature. That
Common?
Wait! I got to hear this. So fold-in posters, like stapled-in posters in the
like the old foldouts.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do effectively all it is a double-page spread that's on the most interior page of your comic book.
Could you do? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Can you do like gatefold covers?
that would be a folded, like two folded sides, right, and then stapled in the spine, right?
No, gatefold cover. Remember, like X-Men 275, where it was like it was a 3-part cover, and like the front cover extended to twice the size.
Right,
it's fold out.
It's like 4 sheets, and they're folded and then stapled.
I think I speak Zach's language much better than you guys. Centerfold, sir. Centerfold.
No, he's not talking about a centerfold. He's talking about a cover.
No, shut up. We're talking about centerfolds. Not only a great song, but an important
Can you
hobby.
do boobs?
Can't do boobs. Boobs good.
Well, we are approaching the second hour, so I guess Chester's officially in full curve mode.
Hey, I'm 3 beers in. I have the right. I've earned it.
I've earned it.
So the gatefold cover thing is an interesting problem in and of itself. I can do covers specifically by themselves, and then I can bind them to the books a bit later. With a 13 by 19 printing capacity, if your book is, what is the standard comic book width? 6 1/4 inches.
Mm-hmm.
So that ends up being 18.75. That meets the requirement with the gutter that I'll be able to provide. So we would be able to do a single gatefold from the front of your cover out if you wanted to. That wouldn't be too difficult. But beyond that, if you wanted like the front to fold out and then the back to fold out, well, I can't do that yet. But in the future, maybe.
Well, wouldn't it be like one longer sheet that then just fold? It would be folded 3 times, right? It'd be folded, and then folded in the center, and then just stapled.
Right, but my printing only has the capacity to go up to 19 inches right now.
Oh, okay, I see. It's too long. All right.
Right, and if I ended up getting like the Epson printer that I was looking at, that's like 32 inches wide, then that has the capacity to be able to print on a roll, and so you'd be able to print out as long as you want. But to be able to do just like a simple gatefold, then yeah, that's possible. So that would give you a 3-part cover pretty readily.
It looks like this art. I brought up an example.
So is this the printer, Chester, that you were looking for?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not a printer.
This is an example of a centerfold. I'm trying to be helpful. It folds out.
I'm trying to scroll up.
Yeah. No, the one I was, in all honesty, is this the type of printer
He
you
doesn't have that in his basement. No way.
He might. You don't know.
Is this Colossus the Forbidden Project?
that is an HP Indigo printer. A little bit beyond what my capacity is.
All right, fine. You tell me which one I got to click on. Go ahead. You tell me which one I got to print on. Click on.
Canon Image Press C800.
He's got a.
Oh, okay. Well, what did you say that? So Canon Image Press
Image Press
8000.
The C800, the second one down.
Oh, there it is. All right. Oh, okay. All right. I get that.
Image right there.
All right.
And so mine's about 12 feet long. All the parts in there are modular, so you can build one to whatever specs you want to and be able to use it for. But that's kind of like your topped out model there. Mine's missing. There's a brochure folder, and then there's a perfect binder that I can't find. If I can find it, I'll pay like $5,000 for it. Yeah, that's about it.
Wow,
that's cool, dude.
Yeah. I like this, man. The entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah,
it's alive and well in 3D Zach. Very cool.
Actually, the second one from the end I have, I think, in my school. It looks kind of like that.
Yeah, because the actual printing portion of it is real similar to a lot of things. So actually, I wonder, sharing screen is easier to know. So I wonder. Hey, cool. Yeah, right. I'm totally like killing it here with the sound effects.
I actually pay a monthly service for my printer. And they'll come out and they'll maintain it. They do all the toner changes, all that stuff's free. I just pay monthly and they take care of it, and I don't have to worry about it at all.
Right. And so I've got the share screen up, and it's the actual like picture of me as I'm putting a tape measure to my computer. And,
watch yourself there. Okay.
Actually, the image of the woman that just showed up, that's Zach's Wii. She works in the back, and he refers to her as Bob.
that's the Wii. She's the other one. Everything gets better.
If my voice came out of that would kill even my, yeah.
not quite my type specifically, but not quite. Yeah.
Hey man, that's Miss December. You watch your tongue, sir.
That's Miss December and Bob's assistant.
That's right.
Zach's assistant, Bob. I'll get it.
And you notice how they spelled it MISS. It's
Miss. Shadowhawk. He asked what I was drinking on. This is a bullet bourbon. Normally I do Buffalo Trace, but they don't have it.
Yeah. Somebody commented on my basement on my 3D Zach Twitter profile. There's a whole bunch of pictures of my studio in my basement. So. Yeah.
So did we have another image that we were sharing? What we were doing? Is this you, Zach?
I think I've got a share.
Zach is going to share one. Yeah.
Scotch down in my belly.
The actual units.
Cool.
It's a little over 12 feet long. Weighs just over a ton.
Wow.
I killed 2 people to get into my basement. Shout out to
Sweet.
the truck.
That's neat, dude. It is awesome. Now, actually, this one's much more modern than the one I have. But the one I got was delivered 16 years ago. And they've never replaced it. They just keep it working. Shut up. It works just fine.
The Canon C800 came out in 2014. It originally retailed for $85,000. And that was for the topped out unit that you saw there. This one would originally retail for about $60,000. So
wow.
But it's business expense to some companies. They get to write off over time, and people like me get a fairly low print run unit and able to really utilize these in the aftermarket. So
yeah, I think it's super cool, dude. I love it.
I've really enjoyed like printing out like pounds of comic books. It's like,
I bet.
Neat. I'm out of the collector region of doing anything, and then I'm into the like, how do we want to do this? It's like, we want this to be like able to fit into a golden era comic size cover and sleeve, so it's going to be maxed out at 10.5 inches tall, but the proportions only allow me to get 6.9 inches wide and things of that nature. It's like following the logistics.
Well, very good. Does anybody have any other questions for Zach? And then we'll bring the other Zach back in, and then we'll celebrate crowdfunding.
Yeah,
crowdfunding.
Really appreciate you coming, Zach. I'll be talking to you later.
Yeah, very informative, man, and especially like I'm hoping that everybody's sharing this out, especially to people that are doing like a small print run of an indie book or something like that. Something like this could really end up helping them out, guys. So definitely let people know.
Yeah, and I was especially helpful.
And Art, I've got a confession to make to you. Every time that I see your name, I pronounce in my head Thibert.
I told him the same things like that until I actually met him. I was like, dude, I thought your name was Thibert.
What the hell is the H? I don't understand the H. What's wrong with French?
You're screwing us up with extra letters in your name, man.
It's French. It's Thibert.
Well, then get that French crap out of here.
That's fair. That's fair. I agree with that.
Man.
So does Joe. Joe hates the French.
Joe's just a ball of hate anyway, man. Look at the emotion.
He is. Look at him. Look at that guy.
Je m'appelle Zach. Hey.
It reminds me of that wrestler. Oh my god. Okay.
My God.
That's the face,
Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I know exactly who you're talking about.
That's the dad. That's the dad face when the kids cross you.
That's right.
Zach, you gotta work on you gotta work on your quarantine beard, man, so you can fit in a little bit better next time you're here.
I keep it short, man. My girl doesn't like it.
This is my angry face.
Away from me, and I can't avoid snuggling her, so I keep it short.
It works.
So
Yeah.
Keep her happy. Keep her happy, Zach. Don't listen to Bob.
But that was awesome, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks
Like
for
I said, it
having
was
me.
really informative.
Right.
See, that's how much I'm informative.
Thank you, Zach, and I'll be in touch with you, man.
Hey, anybody that wants to get in contact with me, I try to be more than helpful. If you have a project that you've got a plan for in the future, I might hit you with more options than you know what to deal with, but we can discuss them. We can talk about what you're looking for. We make something customized for you. Like I said, the difference between this book that I did for Iron Skies and the difference for this book that I did for Narwhal, like they're pretty much night and day. They don't use any of the same types of paper, and I can do all of this stuff, and we can really make a project, pop with whatever you're looking for. So,
I did have one question before you leave, though, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
This is a technical question.
Oh, he doesn't like flan.
we finally figured
Shut
out.
up! Of course I don't like flan. No one likes flan, Todd. Shut up!
No,
God
Your physics
damn it,
right,
New
right?
England Italians. You can't shut them up ever.
Oh,
Look, Zach.
speaking for
Now, Zach. Now I got a serious question. What is the minimum page count for Perfect Bound?
Ooh.
Isn't it like 4?
12. I mean, you want
You
your
can
phone
do
to be able to show something, right? So
Right.
if you've got, say, like even a 12-point font going vertically down your spine, you can figure up your width on that, and that's going to be about maybe 24 pages. It's going to be real small. As far as like what my machine can handle, yeah, it's about 12 pages in a legible spine, effectively. But at that point, why not just use a saddle staple? But yeah, like it's real thin.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay, because
and
I figured it was like 60, 100 pages or something like that.
And you did say that you can do like square bound and stuff like that, right?
Right. Square bound and perfect bound effectively end up being the same thing because it's a hot glue bound book. We can do other stuff. If somebody really wants to commission me to do like a spiral bound or a wire bound or I really want somebody at some point to do an art print book or art print version of their book where we get to do like 11 by 17 pages of each individual page bound at the top. I think that would be amazing. I want somebody to do that.
He wants a calendar he wants a calendar centerfold. Now, I could probably accommodate you, sir.
Zach, are you talking like spiral like this?
We can do spiral. Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Oh, that's very cool.
Cool.
I just got to show this real quick. All right.
What you got? Is that a sketchbook?
When you guys see this, it's going to flip your lid. Can anybody guess whose artwork this is?
That's Sean Gordon Murphy.
I can't really see.
I don't even know.
You got to do the kiss cam. Kiss
Can
cam.
you do it?
Little tiny.
Let's go bigger. Okay.
Go big or go home.
Go big. Let me see if I can figure this out. Boom.
It had that edgy style, so I might be wrong because it was a tiny picture, but oh yeah.
This looks like Murphy's work.
Yeah, that's Sean.
Actually, that was close. This is Eric Canetti.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah, I
yeah.
see it. I see it.
Oh, well, he should have called me because we had the Battle of the Erics yesterday, and he wasn't there.
But this is killer. He gave this to me when I was doing animation, and this is a pitch Bible for this animated cartoon he was working on.
Oh
That
wow.
is cool, dude. That's nice.
He gave he just gave you the whole sketchbook?
Yeah, it's he actually made them for the.
How the hell you rate?
Over 3 decades in the industry.
It's art, Bob. It's Artie Bear.
But yeah, anyways, the real reason I showed it to Zach is I just want to make sure we're on the same page because I do want to do a book like that at some point because I think it's really cool because you can fold it upon itself and you can actually like. Did you see the way I was holding it up? I mean,
Yeah.
there's no bend in the page. There's no nothing.
Yeah.
Everything lays flat.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's pretty killer. Yeah.
I've got some sketchbooks like Jeff Scott Campbell's rough stuff sketchbooks. They do exactly that. And I've always admired doing that. I prefer to do the spiral bound instead of the wire bound. The wire bound kind of leaves a little bit of a gap whenever you fold it over 180 degrees. However, if you're going to hang it up on a wall or something like that, the wire bound does not put an offset due to the spiral nature. And
Okay.
if you're going to do like a calendar or something of that nature, then you do a wire bound that you can hang it on a wall. I mean, like I said, if you contact me with a project, I'm going to throw a lot of options at you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be contacting you. This sounds promising. It really, really does, Zach.
Yeah.
And I should let you go. Do you have give people a parting contact where they can find you, and then we'll get Zach Bradley in here.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I am 3D Zach. You can find me at 3D Zach on twitter.com. You can send me an email with whatever printing specifications that you're looking for whatever your project is at that would be at comicsgateprint@gmail.com. That's comicsgateprint@gmail.com. Beyond that, just ask around. I'm really active on Twitter, especially if you send me a DM. I'll usually respond to that within a day, and we can get to working on whatever you need. So I try to be as open and honest and as upfront as I can be with any of these things. I can't like nail down a price for you until we really know what you're looking for. And I am Comicsgate. I am here because I'm an enthusiast and I believe in us. And I think that by providing this and getting our costs down and our overhead lowered, we can make more projects a reality. We can make a better quality. We can take over. So that's what I'm here. I'm here to take over, guys.
Dude, you fill me with confidence with your knowledge, and I just have to give you some advice. You really need to listen to this. This is very important. From the heart. Charge Todd double.
Charge Todd double. I'm still below. I'm still below 7 people's price.
Double Todd.
You're up for the Florida, man. We'll get to work on that one. That'll be pretty fun.
Well, thank you so much, Zach, for coming in. And your service is invaluable. And I know more and more people are going to come your way because I like I said, see a need, fill a need. And that's exactly what you're doing, my friend. So thanks for sharing your time. Thanks for coming on, and continued success, my friend.
It's been an honor. Hail Comicsgate.
Appreciate it, Zach.
Hail ginger beer.
Hail, what? You're supposed to hail
me.
Hail Caesar, the Butter King. Sorry, I made a mistake. And Thundera says we have more Zachs and Erics than we do Joes and Bobs. But you know what? You only have one Chester.
There were 2 Bobs on the show. There was 3D Zach's assistant Bob.
Only one.
That's
Bob,
right.
And that's me.
I'll tell you,
there's
He's
many
an
Bobs.
asshole.
she was ugly. Man. I think 3D's assistant was ugly, man. She got hit with an ugly stick.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And he's
So Zach, you're back in the show. Did you know you're back in the show?
Yeah, that's why I said the thing I said.
Yeah, he was being derogatory toward me. Art.
think
I don't know why you allow such things on your show.
Chester was talking over you,
Yeah.
as he always does.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's either Chester or Todd that talks over me. I'm just the young lad. I don't get a
Sure.
say.
No
I have,
respect.
to, I have to respect my elders.
Yes, but you are the golden boy.
I'm loving
Yeah.
some of
So,
the stuff that the chat's put in there. So thank you, Liam Light.
Right.
But
It's so
I
sad.
thought it was super cool what Zach's doing.
It is very cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of potential, and I'm interested. I haven't settled with my printer yet, so I'm like, huh.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting. Like I said, everybody out there that's watching, man, let your friends know that are doing like these small projects and stuff, because it sounds like he's doing something that's pretty cost effective.
And if you are thinking of looking at printers, definitely get a proof. Any reputable printer should send you one, and you should be able to get your eyes and your hands on that product and make sure you're absolutely satisfied before you go with a full print run.
Yes.
Joe, I'm hurt, Joe. I thought you had my back, man.
Oh, I do. Absolutely.
I'm not one perv in a million.
1 in a billion?
Okay. Now I feel better.
It was a typo.
It was the British million. I get it. Yeah.
Joe'll always be your bodyguard.
Oh no. All right. So what's the transition here, Art?
Okay, the transition is let's celebrate some of these crowdfunds. So
Yeah.
There's
I got some numbers for you if you want.
You got some numbers.
Yeah, just in the top. Okay, so these are I'm going to exclude Ethan from the first number because these are just the what's just the ones that I'm following. These are the top. This is how much the top 4 crowdfunded books that I'm looking at right now have brought in $344,545. That's just the top 4 that are in my personal list. You add Ethan in there, we're over $1.2 million.
Okay, what are those 5 titles?
The 5 titles that I'm looking at right now are Battle Brick Road, from Eric Weathers.
And we had him on the show yesterday.
Yep,
awesome,
very cool dude. Jawbreaker's Grand Bazaar, which is 16 days left. That's Richard's book 3 for his Jawbreaker series. That's at 9. That's almost $95,000. Kyung Lee's Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb number 2. That just started 4 days ago, and it's already at almost $21,000. And then Dan Fraga's Black Flag, which has 10 days left and is almost at $110,000.
Yeah.
And those are just, like I said, those are just the top 4 that are in my list. Then you add in Ethan, who obviously Ethan's the 500-pound gorilla, almost $860,000.
Man, he's pushing 900,000. Right?
Yeah, already.
Yeah.
And,
so what was that tallied together? Those 5 books?
Those 5 books all together, over $1.2 million.
Very cool.
Right, and if you go to IndieCron, you could find the total run from the beginning.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like ridiculous, man.
Yep, there's several $7 million involved here.
Chester, what do you mean from the beginning? Like from the beginning of Comic Gate?
The very first Comics Gate on IndieCron has a total of everything. Yeah.
What's the total? Do you have it?
No. Let me see here.
I think it's easily it's close to like $3 million.
It's well over 3 million. I think it's closer to 4. Let me see here.
Well, the great thing about all this is that it's starting to get more mainstream attention. You know, when you have Jeppy talk about it in live streams, and I think Joe Rogan brought it up on his show. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty amazing that this is how these things happen, man. Like Image Comics, this is exactly the groundswell that's happening right now, where there's attention, and it's so big that it's breaking down those boundaries. You know what I mean? It's getting into the mainstream. There are more and more people that are either forced to deal with it, like, you know, Steve Jeppy, or, you know, that recognize a movement, something that is huge, something that
holy shit!
It's almost close, 7.5. Yeah,
$7.5 million, dude.
That's cool.
In 3 years.
Yeah. Less than 3 years.
I contributed 70, 80. I contributed 100 and almost 15 of that total.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. And it's just growing every year. It's bigger and bigger and faster and faster. And like I said, one of the books I threw in there was Sean Gordon Murphy's The Plot Holes, which just started today. Today. It's been running for 10 hours and it is almost at $88,000.
And keep in mind, on IndieCron, these are only the books that are given to IndieCron. All those ones you just listed, except for I think Ethan's, are not in IndieCron.
Yeah, not yet.
So it's actually more like it's probably closer to 10 million.
It's probably very close.
When you say 10 million, are you talking about just independent comics or just Comic Gates?
No, Comics Gate.
No, just these are just CG books. He started $7.5 million to date at this point. Yeah. But like he said, Black Flag, Battle Made Knuckle Bomb 2, Grand Design, those books aren't listed on there yet.
No.
Oh, okay.
So that's another $250,000-$300,000.
Yeah. And there's some others that haven't been listed on it as well, but it's it's not bad, dude. It's a number that you have to sit up and listen to, particularly when you have a lot of these screamers and yellers getting on about anything we do over here. Man, money talks, baby.
Yeah, and we're starting to see a lot of these big time creators. They're looking into crowdfunding their own books and stuff. And like I said, Sean Gordon Murphy's going over there. I know Greg Capullo is going to be doing some stuff here very soon once he's done with this last contract he's got with with DC. He's talking about relaunching
Comicsgate right here, baby. Greg Capullo.
Yeah, that's the cover I got, man. I got the Capullo cover. But yeah, and like I don't know if you guys remember that book, The Creech, man. I love that friggin' book, and he's talking about coming back and relaunching that. You know, you've got Joe Mads getting ready to finish up his original storyline for Battle Chasers. So you've got all these big time creators, these guys that we know from the 90s and beyond, that are going into crowdfunding instead of going to mainstream comic books. So it's a big movement.
Yeah, it is cool, man.
3D Zach is still in the chat. You can pop yourself out if you want. I don't know if he doesn't know how to get himself out of the chat here.
Yeah, you just have to hit leave studio.
Yeah.
You have a button there, 3D. I mean, if you want to hang out, that's fine, but I just didn't want to keep you longer.
Yeah, and like just to answer I borrow ideas. Yeah, Sean's not CG, but Sean's a really, really nice guy, and we've seen how people how those 12 crazies the usual suspects, we see how they react to him. So and when it comes to that kind of thing, I always look at it like everybody in their own time.
When we were in the green room before the show started, we were talking about the campaign, and I thought I would put it in there along with the Comicsgate campaigns in case people were curious just to see what he's doing. But yeah, it's a good point that he brought up. I didn't want to unintentionally lead people on to think that Sean was CG. He is certainly not, as far as any of us know. We just included it in there in case people wanted to look at the campaign, see what it was about, see how well it was doing, that sort of a thing.
Yeah, to be honest, I only know him a little bit, but all the people he hangs out with, I seriously doubt if he'll ever be Comicsgate or part of this. I think what he is doing, though, which is fact, is that he's looking at the business model. And he's definitely going to try to, he is incorporating it into what he's doing. So for right or wrong, the influence is still there, and it's undoubtable. Well, you can't argue it. It's definitely there.
Mark Waid, who's one of the biggest detractors, and one of the and the guy that said that Indiegogo was a haven for right-wing hate people, he's trying to do it now.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know, so the writing's on the wall. They see it.
Yeah, and Sean Gardner Murphy is hot. His name is hot right now.
Yeah,
it's smart for him to do a crowdfunder, maybe more so than a year or two ago, right? Because his name is super hot right now. So I hope he makes a ton of money, dude.
Well, I'm just going to go out on a limb, and the reason I think he's coming over to Indiegogo is, other than the superior platform, I think there are the fan base and the business model of Kickstarter is very, very SJW. It is very, very woke. And I think they are having some serious internal issues right now at that company. And I personally, I would stay as far away from Kickstarter for the next couple of years until they get their shit together, because and to be honest, I don't think they ever will, because their business model is rooted in that type of business model. They don't really want. It's more of like, what do they used to call it? They used to call it e-bagging. It was kind of like, it was almost full on e-bagging, the business platform. So they would kind of push like, we want like a personal interest story. We want like some kind of sob story to go along with your campaign. So most of that stuff would be always like, you know, this is inspired by my grandmother who just recently passed away, so this is a tribute to her, or you know what I mean? It always has some
American Idol.
American Idol aspects to it, and they also don't really, even though I know they want the money, but they make it almost seem like they don't want it, like there's shame attached with too much success, unless it's something like what is it, Order of the Stick, or something that isn't trying too hard, you know what I mean, that's kind of off the beaten path, and then they go, oh yeah, a million sales on that. We're all about that. But if you were trying, like if it was some kind of like Zach going in there or something like that, they wouldn't back it. Well, obviously they didn't even want him involved. But to be honest, if it even got that far, they would have probably buried that campaign.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
can I interject on Kickstarter a little bit, if I may? Kickstarter is from New York, and it is definitely a soy boy based company from the very beginning. However, it's been a very successful platform. It created the golden age for board games, I would argue. But one thing that I've noticed they've been doing, and I speculated this on my show the other day, they've been firing a lot of people, even though they haven't lost any money. Right, they're making plenty of money. This hasn't hurt them. And one of the persons that they got rid of was a lady that they hired about a year ago, and she was basically the SJW gatekeeper, right? And they got rid of her. And I speculated by looking at what Kickstarter is doing, I speculated that they were getting ready to be bought, and I thought that possibly it was Amazon that might be wanting to buy them. It would be a perfect thing for Amazon to do, but their actions tell me that they're getting ready to sell. Meaning there's already a deal in works, and they're just kind of dressing everything up. So if this is true, then who would buy them? I think it's the optimal choice would be Amazon. And the conversation went deeper than that, because if this is true, this speculation, then what you have to say is Amazon has put themselves in a position with Comixology and all the other things that they do with their delivery, distribution, et cetera, to be the absolute perfect solution to the comic book industry's woes. Now, I know it's a lot of speculation going on there, but imagine if that were true.
Yeah. And I think that they've actually been trying to tailor themselves to be bought for a long time, even before this. Yes. I remember reading an article 5 years ago when they were talking about the fact that they were going to have to raise how much they take from each project and everything. They don't see the people who are currently involved with it just didn't see it as a long-term business. So, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, considering how big Kickstarter was just 5 years ago. They were it, they were the crowdfunding platform.
Yeah, when they became a public benefit corporation, that signaled a real change in how things were going to go.
Yeah, and I would contend that they've been tailoring themselves to being bought for a while now.
Yeah.
Well, do you think they getting rid of Camilla Zong and the firing of probably most of those union employees,
400 of them,
400 of them,
that this is cleaning the house,
yes,
to get new leadership in so that they could maybe appear to be more profit oriented, or at least business minded, so that they could get somebody to come in and invest?
No, I think they've already been bought. I think the deal's already done. I think what this is just doing cleaning house for the buyer. That's what I feel from all of my experience. It just came to my head, and that's what I felt. Now, I don't know that Amazon's the one buying them. We speculated that because it's makes the most sense. But I really think they're in the process of being bought, dude.
Well, or at the very least, they're trying to tailor themselves to be attractive to being bought.
Or minimally that. Yeah, that's true.
What made you think that they've already been bought?
Because when you have a company that is actually still profitable and making money, because they haven't lost money, this ongoing pandemic hasn't really hit them very hard. I mean, if you're an unknown quantity, you don't want to get yourself out there right now. It's hit or miss. But if you're a known quantity, people are at home. People haven't really been hit in the wallet as heavy as the media likes to make you think. So projects are still making money. We just talked about Ethan. How much money has he made already? So I mean, they're spending money. Well, I'm just saying Kickstarter has not lost money. There's several giant projects, multi-million-dollar board game projects on there right now. Right,
Well,
Mythic Games has got a mega project going on.
Well, they
haven't lost any money.
Projects like product and other things, besides comic books. Yeah.
An interesting.
Well, board games are their main thing. That's where they make the most of their monies off of board games, actually. But they haven't. My point was they have not lost money, but yet they are in a complete house cleaning mode. That's what companies do when they're about to be sell themselves. I'm sorry, Joe.
No, I was just going to say it's kind of an interesting. I don't even know that it's necessarily a counterpoint to what you were saying. I just think it's an interesting statistic to go along with what you were saying is that despite them not losing a ton of revenue, they stated themselves that they lost something like 35% of the number of projects.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me wonder how many of those were projects that they themselves kept out due to their political leanings and utilizing a political commissar for comics and possibly in other categories. I don't know. I really haven't looked into it to that level of detail, but it makes me wonder how much of it was that and how much of it was project owners saying Kickstarter is shady. There's no way I'm taking my project there. I'm using another platform.
Yeah, the reputation particularly from just like people looking into crowdfunding, their reputation has taken a hit, definitely. But like Chester said, they are still the most profitable crowdfunding platform in the world.
Well, they have the brand. They have the brand recognition, and they just have years on Indiegogo. But as far as comic book publishing,
I think
Indiegogo's other platforms. I think Indiegogo is I know Indiegogo is superior in about every way to Kickstarter's comic book platform. I've never funded anything else on either one of them, so I can't speak to that. But definitely comic books. That in-demand store is brilliant. It's absolutely
it is
brilliant.
And actually, Kickstarter's looking. I think there's actually they said that Kickstarter's looking into trying to copy that in some way.
Yeah, they should. But the interesting thing about what you're saying is the comic book world has definitely shifted from Kickstarter to Indiegogo. That's absolutely true, and that is because Comicsgate and the things they did. That's 100% true. Here's the thing, though, that I found very interesting. I know people started getting really upset with Kickstarter was starting. I think it started with John Malin. I don't think it was Richard. I think John Malin's the one that really got the fire under people for that. But I'm not. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But here's the thing: Indiegogo has done that shit too, man.
They have, just not to as big an extent.
No, but they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you mean they have? They bounced projects?
Yep. They've been politically correct. Indiegogo most certainly has. The funny thing, before I came over here a couple of years ago, I was on the board gaming thing for over a decade, right? And I've been involved with projects, Kickstarters, all kind of things over on the board game side. And board games are definitely more family-friendly type of thing, of course, but it has been inundated by the progressive politics as well. Everything has, right? And even though you had that softer side of things on Kickstarter, we always looked at Indiegogo as being the fruity leftist dude. It's funny how it worked out. Because it did change. I agree.
I think ultimately what it came down to is the fact that Indiegogo wants to make money. That's the most important element for them. That's what it comes down to. Like literally, it's like we have our ideals and we will push them if we can. But when it comes down to it, man, the buck stops here. It's money's the bottom line.
Well, they might have realized that, and what ended up happening was the proof is that the people that were getting bumped from Kickstarter because of politics and their beliefs were able to go over to Indiegogo. And so whether Indiegogo had, progressive ideas of what they aspired to be or not, the reality, like Bob said, was capitalism. They were able to turn over a buck because these books went over there. And whether they want to say they're more left or right, I think at this point, due to the success and the level of success on Indiegogo, I would say they're way more right-leaning at this point.
It's weird. It's my point. That's how
which
how
would
much
just
of a
mean
shift
not
things
far
have been.
left.
Yeah,
right.
And
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, they don't even have to be. They don't even have to be right-leaning. They just have to be like not stupid.
But I just mean on the surface, it seems that way. Like if you were just looking at the surface and you see what happened, within the last couple of years between Kickstarter and Indiegogo and creative people like ourselves, and what happened. I think you would definitely, in a nutshell, if you had to break it down, you'd go, well, one is more left and one is more right leaning, or at least one is way more capitalistic, and want to make money than the other one. Yeah.
My wife just got back from getting her hair dyed, and everyone's saying, "Nice hair, baby." Go ahead.
She got her hair. She got her hair did.
Yeah,
On
yeah,
three.
so.
1, 2, 3.
Nice
Nice
hair, baby.
hair,
baby.
Right.
Everyone
Baby
loves your
hair.
hair. They love
Hair.
it. They love it.
It's a beautiful.
He said,
Damn,
"Thank
son,
you."
super
He
fly.
said,
Let me
"Thank
pull
you."
up to that bumper and smack that monkey.
He's a
Sorry, I
beautiful
just
woman.
that was self-service. Just okay, you guys can continue now.
I said she's a beautiful woman. You're a lucky man, Chester.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, what's I'm most excited about what Sean's doing right now is that Sean is, a really hot artist. He's got a following of people that just want his art, and he's bringing in people that are that don't usually do crowdfunding, kind of in the same way that Todd did, And that's what I'm excited about. Is like how many new people are going to be exposed specifically to Indiegogo. Are going to become new concurrent backers to projects because of Sean coming on to Indiegogo.
Yeah.
I would be really, really interested to see if anybody has tried to talk to Todd about taking that project over to Indiegogo to see what happens.
Oh
You
man,
talk about McFarlane.
Yeah.
Well, Indiegogo actually has business development people, which I don't know if Kickstarter can say the same. So I would be surprised if someone from Indiegogo had not already reached out to McFarlane.
Yeah, because man, can you imagine considering how 90s based so much of the comic book fandom is? If you threw that over on a place where comic books are like Art said, where comic books are are pretty much the king business, king product. Like how much bigger and how much further it would go.
Well, Spirits Car says Sean Gordon Murphy threw Kickstarter a bone and said he might consider them in the future now that person is gone. I think he's talking about Camilla.
Yeah, that's where the idea that they think he didn't go over there because of that whole thing that she was there.
Although with Indiegogo having an in-demand feature and Kickstarter not, I really don't know what the incentive would be for him.
It's just even today, Kickstarter is still a much more widely known platform.
And Kickstarter takes more. But I'll tell you, the platform, just to be honest, it doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. It's really what the creator can bring to it. So whether Murphy did Kickstarter or he did Indiegogo, it doesn't matter. But at this point, since he is a player, he can play those guys against each other, which is just smart business. So if you get somehow a better deal or better treatment from one than the other, then that's what he's going to do. And to be honest, because there's a lot of talk about, will Sean Gordon Murphy be Comicsgate? I don't think he ever will be, because I think he is that kind of opportunistic individual. I don't think, I think he keeps his options open, and he'll go with whatever direction will benefit him the best in his project. And to be honest, I mean, we used to call that mercenary behavior, but what else, is there? You got to look after yourself, and you have to look after your project. So I think he's just looking after those things. And if he can play these platforms against each other, or if he can play up the popularity of Indiegogo right now, or possibly get people to scratch their heads like, why did he go to Kickstarter? Why did he go to those, Yahtzee's platform of Indiegogo? You know what I mean? This is all controversial, and it's interesting to talk about and to speculate. And I don't think he's a dummy. So I believe he's playing all of this stuff up.
Yeah, I don't think he's and not everybody's a crusader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he's looking at it and he's like, I don't want to deal with a lot. I just don't want to deal with it. So I'm gonna go. I want to be. And he's always been a fairly genial guy. He's not one of those people that like really pontificates about ideology or anything like that. And like I said, not everybody's a crusader. So he's trying to do what's best for him as far as business is concerned.
McFarlane,
Todd too. So it's like, and I don't have a problem with people like that. I really don't. And as long as they're not trying to actively go after us,
right. But I think the frustrating part for people that are in Comicsgate and people that have kind of fought against some of this more SJW type of wokeness in comics, I think secretly everybody wants Sean Gordon Murphy to say something. Like I know when we did that show about Sean Gordon Murphy and we were talking about the whole Bigfoot Bill cover, fiasco. I think everybody just wanted that guy to step up and say, screw you guys. I did a cover for a friend that stopped making a mountain out of a molehill. It's not a big deal. It doesn't mean anything. You guys are crazy to even, assume that there's some kind of deeper reason other than I just want to help a friend. He asked me, I wanted to do the cover. I did it, and that was it. You know what I mean? Yeah. We can all be friends with people that we don't agree with 100%. Like it's
me and Chester.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
everybody in town.
I am tolerant of assholes all day long.
Yeah,
you're tolerant of
even yourself.
There you go. There you go.
There it is.
I think that statement more
you have to
applies to your
spoon
wife.
feed these young ones, Art.
I know. I almost stepped on it because I almost said it myself, but I stopped.
I think that statement applies more towards Chester's wife than anything else. His wife's only going, yeah, I know.
Why are you wearing the mask in the house, woman?
She's like, I don't trust where you've been.
I don't trust who you're talking to.
You're
Smart
hanging
girl.
out with kids at school. We don't want to be bringing that crap in the house. Yeah, so I think a lot of people were wishful thinking with Sean Gordon Murphy.
Yeah,
I think they wanted, because he could have made a difference. He could have made a huge difference with his voice, and it wouldn't have taken much because he wouldn't have even had to pick a side. All he had to say is what I had said earlier. Just relax, people. I was just doing a favor for a fellow creator. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no conspiracy. There's no, just because his beliefs are what they are, that doesn't mean they're the same as mine. We need to grow up here.
Yeah.
Well, Whiskey Bacon's got an interesting question here, Art. I would say, yeah. I think Sean is really hot right now, dude.
He's one of the top 3 comic book creators in the industry right now. In the mainstream industry, one of the top 3.
In the original art market, he's one of the top earners when you look at the active big 2 artists right now.
Mm-hmm.
The collective.
Yeah, who are the big 2?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think he undercut or undersold those pages, man. And
I think he did too.
He did because of how quickly they sold.
Yeah, he's probably kicking himself right now going, oh, damn it.
Yeah, I think he could have sold them like $800 to $1,000.
$1,000, yeah, definitely $1,000. Because he was selling the chapter ones for $5,000 each, and then all of a sudden each one's $500. I was like, what? Did he miss a zero?
Exactly. Yeah. It's weird because even on this show, I think when we were pontificating, we were saying that those pages would go for $1,000.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why he didn't do that.
Who are the top 3, Joe, you would consider right now?
I'm one of them.
Yeah, there you go.
Over at DC right now, I would say Sean is like I would say right now it's Sean, Greg Capullo, and maybe I'd probably be a toss up between
come on, Bob, you can do it.
What's his Tony Daniels. Because they're putting him on everything though, man.
Think Marvel.
Think Marvel. Oh, you're talking about in the industry? I thought you were talking about just DC. I'm sorry.
No, yes, I said big 2 earlier. Yeah,
Jerome Opina.
Olivier Coipel or whatever.
Olivier Coipel, yeah. I would put him as the top guy at Marvel right now.
You've also got.
He's not at Marvel right now.
Well, he was.
Ryan Stegman and J. Scott Campbell, who are doing big dollars.
Thank you, Joe.
But Campbell's only doing covers, though, man.
Yeah, but
but we were talking original art
for a reason. You.
Original art sale.
J. Scott Campbell is definitely up in the top 3 or 4.
Well, if we're talking original art sales, then Jim Lee's killing all of them.
Yeah, Jim Lee's original for a lot. I wish I still had 1 or 2.
Well, if you really want to get deep into that level of it, Alex Ross.
Well, those are Ross really doesn't.
You can go buy his originals. I've looked at them. It's really insane.
Oh, his originals sell like ridiculous money.
Yeah.
I think he's his own category. I mean, it's still original artwork, but man,
right. You're looking at paintings versus line illustration. It's a great.
Don't judge my cake, Joe.
It's a great point.
God.
Like I said, I think if we're going for strictly illustrators, I would leave him out. But you're right that he is definitely.
Oh, he's hot right now.
At the elite level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I mean, I agree with going back to Whiskey Bacon's point. Yeah, no, dude, Sean Gordon Murphy is super hot right now. He's been that way for a good year and a half, I'd say. I have no doubt whatsoever. I hope he stays hot too. I like his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just for comparison, Chrono Mechanics, we're selling the pages for $500 a page, and those things are selling. You know, we sold probably 20 pages of Chrono art. So, you know, $500 for Sean Gordon Murphy is, you know, it's very reasonable.
Yeah, and like he said, man, I think he's kicking himself now. He's like, I could have sold those for 1,000.
I know he's kicking himself because the whole industry is kicking. Like they're saying, "What the hell?
Like, what are you talking about? What are you doing, man?"
Mike Miller will sell pages for a lot more than that. I mean, so Sean could. I mean, of course, I'm talking about his.
We'll auction them for next to nothing on his show.
Well, no, but I'm talking about his original work from DC, like the ultimate, not the ultimate, the Injustice run, stuff like that. And Murphy certainly got things like that he could sell for big bucks, man.
Oh yeah, like his past those Batman pages. Hell yeah, man! Those things. There's no way he's selling those for $500.
Oh, that Batman White Knight stuff? No way.
Yeah. Oh, it's anywhere from 1,200 to 2,000.
Yep. Yeah. If you go on his site,
I've seen it. He has it on a big cartel site.
Yeah, dude. He did a sketch over on and like just like a crappy sketch and sold it on Heritage for like $500.
Yeah. I saw an original Frazetta once for $5,000, and I thought it was a bargain.
That is a bargain.
Yeah, for Frazetta.
Are you kidding me?
Especially the best I've ever had.
Dude, that was a bargain, but when he was still alive.
Yeah.
That's a bar. Yeah, when he was still alive, when he was in his 20s.
I wonder, do you know, Chester, did you happen to see if it was damaged at all? If it needed restoration?
Well, this was probably 20, almost 30 years ago.
Okay.
I don't recall it being damaged. It was an incomplete sketch, however. The top half of it was a deaf dealer, which was what was intriguing about it. But he was standing on a rock, not on the horse. And all the way down to almost like his mid thigh was completely done, inked. But the bottom half was not inked yet. But it was $5,000, and that was in 93, 95, something like that.
Oh yeah, that thing today would be worth 5 times that.
As a collector, I would almost rather those things, like the behind the scenes drawings. And
yeah, me too. Like the stuff that nobody else has ever seen. There's no prints of or anything. It's like, this is one of a kind.
Yeah.
And you know the funny thing about it? You know who owned it and who was trying to sell it?
Steve Jeffries.
Jim Neighbors.
Well, golly.
Gomer Pyle.
No joke, dude.
He's a comic. Was a comic book guy.
He was. Well, he had a bunch. I don't know if it was a comic book guy, but he had a bunch of fantasy type work, and he certainly had some Frazettas on the wall. It's a kind of weird thing. I was at the time. I was doing several jobs just to put money in the bank, and I was doing vacuum cleaner, in-house vacuum cleaner installations. The ones that are in the house, in the walls of the house.
Yeah.
I was doing that kind of installation, and we went over to do a big, huge install at a mansion in Hawaii Kai. And it was Jim Neighbors' house.
Wow.
Well, the dude was like a friggin' classical singer too. So.
Oh yeah, he's really cool, really nice guy. He actually even I didn't even really ask him for it, but of course we talked to him a little bit about Gomer Pyle and his singing and stuff like that. And I mentioned, my mom's a huge fan of yours, and he just pulled out a one of those headshots, just signed it out to my mom.
This is how old
really nice.
is.
Sorry.
He was around when Jim Neighbors was still alive.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was really cool. He is the most flamboyantly gay man I've ever met, though.
I was going to say, yeah, it's true that he's gay. Yeah.
He had this little houseman, that little Filipino houseman that would walk around in literally just little tight bottoms, no top. Mm-hmm.
Is it like the birdcage? Yeah,
you're
kind of like
breaking
that,
my perceptions, Chester.
I'm sorry. No, he's very macho, man. Yeah.
He's
But no,
okay.
he was a sweetheart, though. He was a really nice fella. He didn't have any ego or nothing. He was cool.
He's
Yeah.
ex-military though, so watch out, Bob.
Yeah.
Spirit
Car said the old Frazetta horror comics predating his famous paintings go for a lot of money as well. Just old copies of the comics themselves. Yeah, dude. Anything with Frazetta's name on it is like money.
And his daughters have been doing a great job keeping his legacy alive.
Yeah.
I follow them on Twitter, and yeah, they're always posting stuff.
I wanted to go to the museum. Where is it in New Jersey? Where's the museum?
Isn't it one of those ones that moves around?
No, I think it's in his hometown, isn't it?
There might be a pop-up one, Bob, but there is a dedicated one. I know for sure.
Oh no, there are.
It's
at least 2 or 3 actually.
It's in PA. It's in East Stroudsburg, PA.
Yeah, I just remember like going to art school, right? And I'm in life drawing, life painting, and the teacher's like, what do you want to do with your career? I go, I want to draw comics. He's like, why would you want to do that? There's nobody's talented in comics. Nobody makes any money. And so then the next day I bring in like my book on Frazetta and I go, how about this guy?
Right? Yeah, right. Well,
asshole up really quick. He's like,
well,
I go, yeah,
that's
what comic book art can be. Yes.
Well, just think how many people Frazetta gave us, though. Right? We have Boris Vallejo, we have Julie Bell, Luis Rullo, on and on and on. So many great artists. Just following in his.
One would be the one that I like is Jeffrey Jones.
Jeffrey Jones, yeah.
Jeffrey Jones.
The Hildebrandt brothers.
The Hildebrandt brothers.
I love the Hildebrandt brothers, man. And actually, speaking of Olivia, did you see that that whole thing that Jim Lee's doing with selling the art for comic book stores? She just did a Catwoman piece. Olivia just did a Catwoman piece
on Facebook she's doing a lot of Vampirilla pieces.
Yeah, she just did a Catwoman piece for that fundraising for comic book stores that Jim Lee's doing.
Okay, I borrow ideas says, hey, Art T Bear, dumb question. For the work you've inked, who decides what you can keep or sell? All of the work, thank goodness, just before I broke into the business, there was no art returns. So I was one of the first generations to benefit from that.
Oh, nice.
Just an aside story, Jack Kirby never got his artwork returned to him. They had to fight a major battle. And at that point, most of the artwork was either destroyed or given away. But I was the generation that got to benefit from that battle. But what happens is it usually is the company. So there's an art returns guy, and the art returns guy goes, inkers usually get 1/3 and the penciler gets 2/3 of the book. So usually you get about 7 or 8 pages per book. And a lot of times it's divvied up evens and odds. So, 1 month, the penciler will get even numbered pages, and then the inker gets the odd, and then the next month, vice versa. So that's usually how they try to keep it fair, unless somebody has a specific page that they want. So then they can trade with the other artist. So that's usually.
Don't you also get like every third cover goes to the inker as well?
Yeah, that's the 1/3 rule too. The only problem with that is if you only do 2 covers, which I've done in the past, you don't get a 3rd cover because remember I was doing. I think I did 2 Dave Finch covers for Wizard Comics, and we were just about to do a 3rd, and it didn't happen. So I don't have one of those Dave Finch Wizard covers.
This is probably a dumb question, but it just popped in my head. When did people like Ethan come along? The people who inked, who penciled and inked themselves. They did the whole thing themselves. Because I know for a long time, like Jack Kirby, he didn't ink, right? I mean, he penciled and someone inked him, right?
Mm-hmm.
When did that transition happen? When did we start seeing people like Ethan?
The first one I ever saw that I really paid attention. A lot of indie guys did that prior.
Yeah.
Mainstream was the first one I saw do that. It was John Byrne. Like John Byrne would ink his own work. Mm-hmm. I think he was the first mainstream guy I really saw do it on any kind of regular basis. But just there really isn't any time. I think they do it now because a lot of those guys aren't really inking. It's like digital inking. So they're just kind of penciling really tight, and then they're like setting it from grayscale into like black. So they're converting the pencil gray to black. And so the reason they do that is because then they can get a little bit of the inker cut. So they get a higher page rate.
Sure.
But they still don't get an inker page rate. But they get, a little bit more. So you see a lot of more finished work that's kind of pseudo inked, but not really, in comic books. And with the digital process, it can fool you a lot of times. Like you don't really know.
Yeah.
And of course, you have those abominations like Gary Shipman who just ink.
Yeah, like Jimmy, like his inks, man. Like because I think the reason why you can tell the guys who started off as traditional inkers and then transition into that 3D because they take those traditional skills into the 3D with them.
Yeah.
So their inks are very, 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 very close and very similar to the traditional. And I think that's when you get full. But then there's guys then there's people like you said that you could tell it's
ridiculous.
You can tell it's digital.
Well, the problem is if you can't transcend the program, then it all becomes the same. So then you look like everybody else.
Yeah.
And that becomes a big, big problem. That's why I worked with digital artists. I worked with Victor Bogdanovich on the Batman Dark Knight. It was the video game book. And then I worked with Steven Segovia, and they're both digital pencilers, and they would put textures in, like digital textures in. So when I scan those, when I print them out on Blue Line, that pattern still shows up, but I don't have access to that. And just a pride issue, I never went, hey, could you drop this pattern in? I never had that conversation with any of those guys. So what I would do is I would emulate that in a practical way, whether grease pencil or dry brush or whatever it was. But I would copy that in a practical, pen and ink, brush and ink way. And so those originals, I think they look great. You know what I mean? Because it's all there. Like when you look at the original, it's all there. There isn't a digital pattern or anything like that that's in the background. It's there. And I've always prided myself on that. And it was a little bit of a trend for a while because I noticed Danny Mickey and some of the other inkers started doing that as well. Instead of leaving it the digital pattern, they were actually going in and doing the mist effects themselves or whatever the effect was that was digital. And I think that's a big difference too, because if you do it by hand, there's no way you could replicate it because the way I explain inking is it's a performance. So it is whatever it is at that moment in time. You can't really replicate it. But digitally with the program, you could pretty much nail it 9 times out of 10, do it the same way. And that becomes, I think, the problem with it for me. But there's a lot of guys that use those programs and do great artwork.
Well, and those top guys that do that, like I know, like speaking with Jimmy, because Jimmy's the one I have the most access to. He hates using those in-program things like that. He says because it makes it look fake, it makes it look plastic, and it's recognizable. You can see that. So all the stuff that he does, he creates his own. He creates that, like again, that's bringing those traditional skills into the program, and you put that kind of detail and stuff in yourself. You don't let the program do it.
I mean, Todd does that, and I think it looks good, though.
Well, it can if you know how to use it right. But there's and again, I think this also comes down to ability. I think there's a lot of people that are just like, I'm not going to try to get better at this. I'm just going to use that because it's there.
Well, and one of the things that we haven't really mentioned, but it's a huge factor, and Art can attest to this as well as anyone, is deadlines. And depending on, you take a guy like Byrne. If you look at when he was illustrating 3 titles concurrently, he was penciling those issues. When you look at him penciling and inking, I would have to go back and look just to be sure, but I would almost bet that if he was penciling and inking, it was 1 title per month. And then when he went to 2 and 3 titles, it was pencils only.
Yeah.
Well, some of those he was penciling, inking, and writing.
Really?
He was doing more than 1 title in a month.
I think he's always done 2 titles per month. I don't know if there was much of an exception other than later in his career, like early in his career and later in his career. But when he was on fire, I think he always did multiple.
He was doing fantastic. He was doing X-Men and Fantastic Four at the same time, wasn't he?
I believe so.
Well,
Yeah.
I knew that he was penciling
see-
multiple titles for quite a while, but I hadn't realized he was
You might be
penciling
right.
and inking multiples.
Yeah, he may
Yeah.
have penciled and wrote one.
Okay.
Penciled two and then wrote one of the books because I think he wrote Fantastic Four,
Mhm.
didn't he?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
That's
but,
what I was gonna say.
Joe-
I think he was. I think for a while there, he was doing both at the same time.
Yeah,
Well,
he
yeah,
was
but-
writing and
yeah.
penciling Fantastic Four because Jerry Ordway was the inker, and
Mhm.
then he was penciling X-Men, and Claremont was writing, and Austin was inking.
Mhm.
So I think
but
Joe,
Joe, you have to remember though, most artists are not like you and I. They get up at 3 in the afternoon and they think about it for 8 hours. You see,
yeah, you know what? I wish that was the case.
well, you had a long career, so obviously you can be efficient and get your job done,
Wow.
right?
But then, and here's the thing. Again, Byrne is one of those guys that I would kind of classify him as an outlier. You know.
Yeah, he's definitely the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
He created a system of doing it, an approach, and for right or wrong, he kept that going. And every once in a while there would be something inspired, but it was always good. You know what I mean? It very rarely went outside the box, but it was always really, really good, and it was always above what most people were doing every month. So even though he might have been doing 2 books a month, it was still better than most could do. You know,
He had consistency that editors loved.
yeah. And it's a way of creating a system for yourself to work. So every time he approaches it, he does it the same way, and that's how you can increase your speed. That's how you can build up speed, is doing the same thing repetitiously over and over again. And that's the only way I got things done in the day when I was doing multiple projects.
Who's the quickest artist in the industry, as far as you know, Art?
Today,
From your experience, yeah, through your experience, yeah.
I think Mark Bagley is probably the most proficient guy that I've ever worked with.
I think at one point somebody actually asked him that question. He said he could pump out like 8 pages a day.
Damn, that's Kirby level, man.
Yeah, but then you look at someone with Jim Lee's. Well, I'm sorry, what's that?
Bagley and I were doing 2 books a month on Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And
Then you
Bagley has the trade-off there, though, is Bagley has often been criticized as being stiff or static or not exciting, bland art, that type of a thing. And it's one of those things where Art, I'm sure you can speak to this in more detail, but as an amateur comic historian, I'll call myself, I have, from the artists that I've studied, it seems like you could either be a guy like Byrne or Bagley, where you're not wowing anybody month after month, but you're consistent and your editors love you. You meet your deadlines. The fans love you because your stuff looks like your stuff. There's no fill-in issues, no guest artists. You can have that sort of a career and last a really long time, or you could be like a Jim Lee or a Todd McFarlane, where you are wowing people, but there's some inconsistency. Sometimes you need a fill-in artist, that sort of a thing.
There's
more guys like that, like Scott Eaton, Paul Pelletier. These guys don't, they're not flashy and they tell good stories. They move the camera around really well. The blocking in the characters is always really, on spot on, and they can keep the consistency of the iconic look, right? That's important. From whatever angle you draw from, does Superman look like Superman? Yeah. So there's a lot of guys like that. They're unheralded. They're a little underrated. But yeah, I'd put Mark Bagley in that.
Yeah,
definitely in there.
Those guys, what happens is those guys suffer from like not having an aesthetic style that's like you say, the wow factor, Todd. But it's just an aesthetic. Like Byrne was both. Like Byrne could bang it out, but he also had a great aesthetic. You know what I mean? That he could get done. Bagley, he's great at everything he needs to be good at, but his overall aesthetic isn't that pleasing. And when I inked him, I remember Bob Harris saying, bury him. So one of the things I would do is, I tried to make the faces look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, because there's certain things that Bagley would do notoriously. The one eye would be over to the side more structurally, from shot to shot, it would change a little bit. So, and then give like within his style range, but give it a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more wow factor. And that's what an inker can do with somebody that's really competent and good, like Mark Bagley, but that may suffer from some of the wow factor. And so those are usually the teams that you want. You want that guy that can be that guy that puts, gets books done, makes a deadline and all that, but then you can match them up with somebody that's got that wow factor.
I also think and you look at Bagley's work throughout his lifetime, it depended on what he was working on too. There were times when when his work had a lot of energy, like the stuff that he did on New Warriors, like his early stuff on New Warriors. There was good energy and stuff in that. I just think as time went on and he became that guy that they relied on to do that, he kind of began to fall into that. I
don't think it's weird, because there's two artists that I'll put in this category. They never changed. I inked them throughout my 35-year career, like every 5 or 10 years, I would come back and ink them. And Dan Jurgens' pencils never changed.
Yeah, never.
Yep.
Never, ever changed. And Mark Bagley's pencils never changed. When I left Ultimate Spider-Man and I started inking them over at DC on the Trinity series, exactly the same, man. It didn't miss a beat. Like, everything was like, I've inked that face, I've inked that pose. You know what I mean? It was all exactly the same, and it didn't vary too much. But that's not, it's kind of like what Joe was saying. That's not what those guys are about. Or like Todd was saying, like Paul Pelletier and stuff. Those guys are just like monthly guys. They put out, they're storytellers, and they put out monthly product. And then there's the guys like, that are more the guys that inspire the industry. You have like your Mike Mignola, or you have your Travis Charest. You have those guys that really don't do monthly product, but that when they do, the industry steps up and takes notice of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then kind of emulates that, and then tries to bring that into a monthly schedule. You know what I mean? Like what is it? Francis Yu is basically a Travis Charest, meets Will's Portaccio. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he's a monthly guy. You know what I mean? He can take those styles, put all that same work into it, but then he can make a schedule. And so that's the cool thing with some of these guys that inspire. Then people that do monthly books can kind of emulate that, figure out the formula, and then get more consistent work.
And there's also a big difference now in current year and for the last several years, where instead of having, let's say, Art, a penciler like Dan Jurgens and an inker like yourself, and then you think of the rendering that goes into the typical Superman book with Jurgens on pencils and you on inks, and then the color that comes in behind that, versus your average Marvel X book from this year, where it's essentially outlines and just the tiniest bit of rendering inside the figures, and the rest is all color holds. It's color rendering. And it just, to me, for anybody who likes that, more power to you. I'm glad you like it. Knock yourself out, buy as much of that stuff as you like. For me personally, I just can't stand it. It's an aesthetic choice. I know why the publishers do it. Yeah. Overall, they're saving money, but I just can't get into it. They're able to publish those books every 2 weeks, but
and that's glorified coloring books. They're coloring book artwork, and they're probably paying those colorists next to nothing to just go above and beyond to finish it up. I know this for a fact. Marvel had I don't know about now, but when I was working there, they had serious contempt for the inker. They did everything they could to destroy the inker. And I think that was an experiment. So they didn't pay inkers worthwhile. They didn't treat them with any respect. They all went to DC Comics. You look at all the great inkers at that one period, they all left, they jumped ship, and because DC was paying good money and they were treating them with respect. And then Marvel got what they got. They got Tumblr art, and they pay like these, and look at how many colors they blow through constantly because they're burning those people out.
Yeah.
Because they can't pay them enough to do the work that they're doing, because the only reason that stuff is working is because of the colorists coming in and basically giving planes. You know what I mean? Like they're establishing planes on the figures and stuff because the ink's not, you know?
Yeah. That's not a good thing, right? That's pretty sad, but a very true statement. I was curious if I could shift the conversation slightly. Art, who was your favorite writer that you worked for? Or with, sorry.
It never saw the light of day, but I liked working with Lin Wein. He and I did a run on Human Target, and then we did some stuff on was it called Checkmate, I think.
You're going way back.
Yeah, this is way back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like Human Target hadn't been around for a long time.
Yeah. And Dick Giordano inked me on that. So I got to work with like two of my all-time like idols. I love Lynn and I love Dick Giordano's inks. And the cool thing about it was when you work with somebody like Lynn, the layout becomes easy because they know how to tell a story. They know the format. So when they write this stuff, it's already the left-right rules work. All the angles work. You know, they choreograph all this stuff in their head. So when they're writing it and you're reading it, you can see it. The layout is not that hard to do. I've worked with some people that they give you very little to go from, and it just becomes a nightmare because nothing really works. And then sometimes those guys are writing full scripts, which amplifies the problem, meaning you have dialogue now to deal with. So if they don't know the left-right rule, then you get into problem. And the left-right rule is we read from the left to the right. We read up and down. So sometimes if you have multiple characters, like say they're just speaking at a table and they don't know that rule, sometimes there's a 2-shot, sometimes there's a 3-shot, you know. So you have to figure out how to get all those people that speak first on the left-hand side of each one of these compositions or somewhat in that direction so that each one of, you know, their dialogue balloons will make sense from the right, left, or the left, right, up, down rule. Yeah.
Well, it's just visual storytelling, right? How do you flow through the page? How do you move to the next page? Right.
Well, some guys don't know that.
Or man. Is it a flip? Right. You know, because those flips are special. I'm telling you, as a writer, the writers love that flip, man, because they can use that for effect. Right.
Yeah. Well, when I was editing Flying Fortress Remastered for Eric Weathers, one of the things that we were able to do to clarify some of the storytelling is that was a good example of, you know, an indie book where the guys who made it didn't know what they were doing when they were making it. They were literally learning on the fly. So, you know, there weren't professional writers putting those issues together. So when we had a chance to remaster, when Eric had a chance to remaster it, and then he brought me in to help with editing, one of the things that I looked for were opportunities to take away dialogue in order to set up more suspense on a page, right, that would then get paid off on the next page, or to change some dialogue where the spirit of the original dialogue was there, but we reworded it so that it was more of a setup, and then we paid it off on the next page.
Yeah. Pacing is a big thing. You know, how to pay those things off. I mean, each comic book is a cliffhanger, because every time you have to turn that page, it becomes almost a cliffhanger because you can't see what's coming, and then you turn the page. And so if you write it properly, you can kind of get these good revelatory things that can happen, even if it's just a small payoff to a piece of dialogue. You know what I mean? That pays off when you flip the page or whatever. It doesn't always have to be a major splash page or, you know, a big event that way. Do you guys want to start wrapping it up?
Sure. I did have one question on that topic, if I may, before we jump out. You ever work with Neil Gaiman?
No, I had friends that did, and they said he was really cool to work with. Those same friends, it was on Swamp Thing. His name's Stan Walk, brilliant artist. He said that he would take Neil Gaiman over Alan Moore any day, though, because Alan Moore, he said, you get a manuscript. You know what I mean? Like, it's not 1 page per page. It's not 22 pages. It could be like a whole freaking novel. So he'll explain everything in the room, everything on the bookshelf, all the details and stuff like that. And Stan said it was one of the slowest, painstaking process he ever worked with. He said he absolutely hated it. I think you'd have to be somebody like Dave Gibbons that, over time, and they look back at your work and go, this was absolute genius. You know what I mean? But if you're working on some kind of monthly and you're just trying to get paid and get your book done, it would be an absolute nightmare, reading an Alan Moore script and breaking that sucker down. I couldn't imagine how painful that would be.
And Mighty Joe Young says Gaiman's a blowhard. But I don't know. I've never met him. But one thing I'll say about Gaiman, he has, as far as in the comic book world, of course, he's mainly an author, I would think, more than a comic book guy. But nevertheless, in the comic book world, he's created probably the best story of any comic book writer ever.
Which was?
Coraline.
Oh, was that a comic book first, or was it always?
I think it was a book first, and then he turned it into a comic book. But Coraline is one of those moments because Gaiman's pretty talented, but he's not that talented, not that level. But I think he had one of those kind of, metaphoric Akashic record epiphanies came into his head, because Coraline is freaking brilliant. I mean, Lovecraftian brilliant.
I thought his Stardust was pretty good, and
it is.
Before that, his comic book work, Sandman, Dollhouse, that series.
Yep.
I thought that was really, really strong. That was
people like his American Gods too. Yeah, but no, his Coraline is a stroke of genius. It's one of the best things I think that has been written that has any a connection to comic books. It's really ridiculously good.
Yeah, Coraline is one of the T-Bear's favorites. We loved watching that as a family. It's a great,
it's so deep, dude.
Yeah, it's a great story. There's a lot of things going on there, and if you're watching it with your kids, especially young, I think they can get something out of it. There's morality there that's pretty fun.
Well, and your brain takes more out of it than you do, which is interesting.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Whiskey Bacon, for the $10. Hail Art, hail Pontificators, hail chat, hail all. Another great stream. Love it. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. And what I wanted to do is make good on the promise of the title of the Pontificator stream. And we'll pay a little bit of, celebratory praise on some of these crowdfunds. And also, if you don't know about them, maybe we can turn you on to some of them. So I have a few here, and maybe you guys... my Pontificator bros can turn me on to some other ones if need be. So I have Ethan's, I have Battlebrook Road, I have Battle Maiden Knucklebomb, and I have Frega Boom's Black Flag. So let's go with the best and see what we got here.
You got Nino Towski's Shadow Sentry as well.
Mm-hmm. We'll do that, yeah. So you guys find the tabs, and we'll go over this right now. So Ethan Van Skyver's Cyberfrog 2 Wreck Planet. Look at this bad boy, kick ass. 858,006, 7,287 backers. You guys, there are DC Marvel books that don't sell 7,000 copies. So this guy sold one, that amount based on, his own IP, which is nothing short of amazing. Let me hit refresh, see if it has gone up.
And by the way, and if you just go to Indiegogo and you look at their comics page, 6 of the top 10 CG books.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah,
absolutely.
So Ethan just went up. So you guys, he is now in demand. So go check it out. I really wish I had the money for that executive honeycomb box, because that thing kicks ass. And I hope to one day get some of my crowdfunding campaigns up to that point where I can afford to manufacture a cool honeycomb type box. I think that would be cool. Great. a great way to, put all your collection in one box. And also I've seen people, I guess you can buy these and you can put your comics in there. They're kind of the same idea. They have a little magnet on them and they're comic book size. And I've seen people bring those to me at conventions and have me sign them. So they'll have like the RT Bear books that they want signed in one of those like boxes, and they'll bring it up to me. And I always thought that was cool because you can stack them without crushing them, and they look great on your bookshelf. Okay, so let me see if this works. Okay, Battle Brick Road. Are you guys seeing Battle Brick Road now?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This is Eric Weathers, big time comics gator. Battle Brick Road. A little behind the scenes story. I'm working with James Dean Anderson now on some Chrono stuff, and last minute they changed this logo out, and that's James Dean Anderson's logo. I think it looks brilliant, man.
It is, dude.
It looks.
I talked to him over a year ago, like a year and a half ago, and when it was Operation Zephyr, and him taking that and switching it to Battle Brick Road was a stroke of genius, because that is a badass name.
Yeah, it's a badass name and it's a badass logo. This is the second logo. This thing's going great. I think Eric is getting better leaps and bounds as an artist, and his ideas, his IP, his story ideas are always really cool. I hate him for it. Okay, so he's at 452 backers. Let's see if he's done any business here. Ooh. What is that? Six backers? Yeah, since we've gone live. So he's got 6 backers. He's got 23 days left. So he still has time, but don't wait. This looks really, really killer. So go check out Battle Brick Road. Let's check out my buddy. He just lives up the freeway from me, Chung Lee. Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb, issue 2. This is the premiere edition. So he's got this. I think it's been running just for a couple days as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 26 days into it. 385 backers, 20,000. He's almost at 21K. That's killer, man. These Comicsgate books are rocking it. So let's see, 385. He got 4 backers while we've been hanging. So if you guys check this out, there's sex appeal involved, and he will not apologize for it.
Oh no, he draws them thick. That's for sure.
Yeah, thickest artist in CG, man.
Yeah.
He's going to be right up there with Thunder Buns, like Thunder Thighs and Thunder Buns.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
A crossover.
A match made in heaven?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a crossover for you. So let's go Frega Boom, Pineapple Perception comic book. So this is cool, man. I remember when he created this over at Extreme Studios, Dan Frega's book. I think I inked the first appearance of Black Flag, the one character with the beret. And that was a while ago. So he's brought it back. He's dusted it off, and he's going to give you some more story. And so this is Black Flag. He's winding down. He's got 10 days left. So, but $109,000, almost $110,000.
He'll get that last minute bump too, man. He's going to hit 150.
Bob, we just talked to him last week, and it's like 20-30 grand higher.
I'm telling you, dude. Name somebody else that hustles more than he does, man.
Yeah,
he's on it, dude.
It's the bunny suit.
Yeah,
it probably is.
It probably is. Is that what you said?
It is the money suit.
He's cornered the market on the furry buyers.
Yeah,
the furry backers.
Oh my God.
I got balls. They said I got balls.
He's got a purple furry gorilla in the story. So
yeah, he's got a furry in the book. He's wearing a furry suit. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he wears a pink bunny outfit on his stream. You haven't seen it, Art?
Oh, I have. Yeah, I've streamed.
It's funny.
It's all I can do.
He talks about masturbating into cups. It's awesome.
Yeah. So he's got 1,433 backers. That is killer. If anybody, if you can break 1,000 backers, you can run a killer successful campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really always the goal. And also you get a price break with the printers at 1,000 print runs. So 1,000 is kind of the magic number. So let's see, he's got 1433 as far as backers. Ooh, so he's got 3 more backers. Killer, man. So all these campaigns are on fire right now. So this is our celebration, you guys. So go back these books. There's one other book here. It's kind of near and dear to my heart. It's this one here.
Oh, that thing sucks.
Thanks,
Nice guy. You don't forget Richard's Jawbreakers he's got going on, dude.
Yeah, if
that's
you
almost
guys
100 grand
find
too.
Those, yeah,
I got it right here.
I got a bunch of them dialed up, Art.
Okay, so when
go
back,
with Joe. Go with Joe.
Yeah, I'll come back for that. So yeah, we're at 42, 292. We have 572 backers, and we are in demand right now. And we just put a new stretch goal for the 45K, and that is the killer Chrono Mechanics patch. So if you guys love patches, you want to put them on your bomber jackets, on your backpacks, this is the patch for you guys. So so thanks to all the backers on this. You guys are kicking much butt.
Art, did you settle on the design you wanted to go with?
Yeah, I'll show it off. I got it here. Actually, you know what? It might be faster if I do it this way because I just updated today. So here's the patch.
There it is. Yeah, look at
There
that. Oh, that's
it is.
Nice, dude.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, so it's kind of a royal blue, and the gold. You can't really do gold in Photoshop; it doesn't really work. But that kind of my wife says it's peach, but it's really supposed to be gold. So when we have the patch made, it's going to be kind of a metallic embroider.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice.
More like real gold. And then it has kind of each one of the stars represents one of the characters. So Ood is red, blue is Caravaggio, purple is Zin, and green is Doug. So
awesome. Well, I put it on my favorite jockey shorts. So hit that goal.
Go right on the left cheek. And
Yes,
so this,
yes.
speaking of,
Well, I was going to put it near my left ball, but whatever you like.
oh man, you got some big balls because that's going to be a big patch.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about the elephantitis.
No.
The elephantitis. When I heard about elephantitis, man, I was like, "This is not real." And it's like, no.
I used to see a guy who had it in his legs, and it's absolutely real. Yeah, it was pretty sad.
It's really odd. You just think it's like some kind of Outer Limits or Twilight Zone type of thing, but no. And so we have the great James Dean Anderson working on card duty right now. So he is designing the Chrono Mechanics card. So this is the Oot card that comes along with the Oot variant card, or the variant cover, which was drawn by Sean Cheeks Galloway. And so if you back that tier, you will get this card as well. So I'm coming back to the Pontificators. So what do we have here? So should we go Chester's first?
No, go Joe. Go Joe. Joe's ready.
Okay.
So do you want the links in the private chat, or do you want to share screen, or how do you want to do it?
We'll just share the screen so we can show off
Okay.
some more celebration, some more crowdfund books.
Let's see.
Oh, wait. What is this? I saw one with a nutsack like a beanbag. I think it was on Faces of Death. Yeah. What the hell, dude? Oh my gosh. Remember? I had friends that were like, let's watch Faces of Death. And I was like, nah. Once you see some of that shit, you can't unsee it.
That's true.
I think, what was it? John Malin on one of his shows, he had this guy was at one of those lion country safari type things where you can go and you can watch the animals in their wild, natural state. And this guy got out of his car to film it, and a tiger came up behind, and before you knew it, there were 3 of them on top of him, and they ate him in front of his family. Like it was nuts. And I got tricked into watching that shit. I'll never unsee that, man.
Clucky. That's the most dangerous animal in the world. I'm gonna go stick my thumb in his cloaca.
Yeah, what the hell, man? These things are meat eaters. They'll whatever, man. People are stupid. But yeah, so this is Jawbreakers. This is Richard Myers. Wow, he is almost at 100K.
Yeah.
And he's still live. So this is still fun. He has 16 days left. Let's see if we can get him to 100K. He's at 1,966 backers, man. This is huge.
Yeah.
And what is it? Alphonse? What is his? Alfecci? What is his name?
Aaron Alfici.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this artwork is phenomenal.
It's really nice, man. I'm digging it.
And if you want to see his first published work, you can check out The Replicator by Rob Arnold.
Yeah, that's another book. Oh, sorry. That's another book that I was wanting to look at was the Replicator Remastered because it's got his stuff in it.
Yeah.
I think I used to do like portfolio reviews. And if I'm not mistaken, I think way in the day, I did a portfolio review of that guy, his work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like, I gave him, like, sometimes you can't say much, but you just find just little ways to throw him over the top. But I think when I was reviewing it, I was like, you're already professional, dude. You don't need to be on this show.
Like, what are you slumming down here for, man?
Yeah, that is nice.
It's really, really good. So yeah, go check this out. So what do you have, Chester?
Oh no, Joe's got a bunch of them. Let him finish.
Yeah.
Come on, Joe.
Okay. Yeah, I got a bunch of them dialed up.
Joe.
So then we got another case for the Littlest Umbrella.
Yep.
by-
That
Umbrella guy.
Today, or was it yesterday?
Yeah, and it's already at the top of the list at Indiegogo.
Wow.
Just launched today.
Well, it's Tug and his daughter. It's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if we scroll down, we've got a 40-page full color this time, all ages adventure featuring our beloved detective and his littlest sidekick
Hey
as
there.
they endeavor to stop an ancient evil threatening to destroy the world.
Well, that logo's really cool too. Another case for the Littlest Umbrella.
It's a good
Yeah.
name. I like it. It's cute.
And so one of the things that Tug has added in this one is a new ash can by 6 a.m. Comics. For those who have been following along, he's the one that does the stickers for so many of the campaigns. And if we go down here, we've got our cover.
Who's doing the artwork? Didn't was it Chung Lee that did one of the stories last time?
Yeah, he did the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
S.K. Bennett is the name that I have seen on the campaign so far.
Well, that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's got the little raincoat and the rat tail. Look at that, Chester.
Yeah, right. Got to respect that.
Well, that's a good one.
I read this Replicator thing, dude.
Yeah, the artwork.
When did this come out?
There's 2 issues out now, right?
Yeah. This is actually he's working on the third one right now. The one he's doing right now. This is remastered. This is the remastered version of the first one.
Oh, okay.
So that's what's up right now. He's got the third book that he's working on right now. The third one, if I'm not mistaken, he's actually working with Clayton from howtodrawcomics.net.
Yeah, Clayton Barton.
Which if you guys haven't seen his website, check him out. He's a really cool CG guy, really, really good artist, great tutorials. I've been following him for a long time, even before he was. I knew he was.
Wait. What does the card say? It says, "Hey there."
Yeah.
I can't read the rest. What does it say?
Hey there, investigative services.
That's what you call branding, people.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
And
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
you've got the old glass door.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Shouldn't it be backwards though?
Fair.
Outside.
That's fair. Maybe they're outside.
If they're inside the room and the door is open and against the wall.
Oh, see, Joe's figured it out. All right, moving on.
Joe figures out everything.
Yeah, but Joe's a liar.
Oh, whoa.
The cake is a lie.
Otherwise known as an editor.
That's telling. Ooh, look at the elbow. The
Yeah.
flying elbow. If anybody has kids, they know they are aware of the flying elbow, man.
Oh my God,
Right?
Christmas morning.
If your
Christmas
kid,
morning.
if your kid walks in and you're laid down and she puts a pillow on you, expect to get body slammed.
Oh,
Say,
my
I
daughter.
put the pillow on you so it wouldn't hurt, Daddy.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
daughter would start from the studio here. We got a clear shot all the way into the bedroom, and she'd get a running start, and then just do the flying elbow right into my my kidneys.
Yep.
Oh, this is the guy you were talking about that does.
Yeah. 6 a.m. comics. So he'll do the stickers in this style for various different campaigns.
Yeah, he did Doug with his flying guitar.
Mhm.
It was awesome looking. Yeah, I was totally flattered. I thought his style really fit. It fits Chrono, and it also really fits this.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I've always enjoyed Tug stuff because he goes down and he breaks down the statistics, and I've always enjoyed that. And when he brings his kid on, it's cute, man. I like it.
Yeah. He's got a great kid. Wow, that is really good looking. Did he launch today or was it yesterday?
Today.
Oh,
Today.
Yeah, today. He's
13,000.
been
That's incredible.
building it up. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for anybody who is concerned about the Rona affecting delivery dates, one of the things that I've noticed is several people who have been launching in the last several weeks have added a lot of extra time onto their delivery date.
Sure.
So, as Tug says here, he's put May of 2021 just out of an abundance of caution, but he expects to deliver much earlier than that.
And for all you producers out there, you guys are getting your comics printed. Do not get anything made or printed in China. Don't do it.
Yep.
China has a big, huge problem going on right now, and it's going to only go to get worse. Stay away from China 100% if you're doing any kind of production. Don't go somewhere else.
What is the problem?
Oh, I don't know. They have a full-on potential civil war happening. They have riots all over the place. The police are cracking down and throwing people into boxes. They have 5 cities in full lockdown, by the way. Don't listen to the media. China's in a real hurt right now. Of course, the CCP was trying to lie and say, oh, it's America's fault. They've been saying this the whole time, by the way. But the people are wiser than that, so they're starting to blame the CCP. So they've come to the point where they're like, all right, fine, and we'll just beat the hell out of y'all if you shut up, which is another one of their tactics, Tiananmen Square, right? This is what's going on. And of course, after this all wraps up, coming up, I'd say probably around December, the whole world is going to take revenge on China, dude. I mean, at least economically. So you don't want to be doing any business with China at all right now. And if you are, stop it.
So you're thinking that there may be a chance that you won't get your shipment?
Oh, absolutely. It's a chance. It's not guaranteed, especially if it's coming in the next few months. You might be okay, but China's in serious hot water right now. They're making war-like actions toward Australia. They're trying to intimidate them. They're basically trying to strong-arm the ownership of the South China Sea here. They're poking at Japan like crazy. India's had enough of them. And they're kind of starting to get on the war path too. And that's not even getting into all the lawsuits and all the stuff that's going to come in from Europe and the Americas because of this nonsense, which they started, and they won't stop their nonsense. So if you're doing business in China, I mean, stop doing it. Find some other way to get it done. Either get your printing done in America or whatever you're getting made. Find somewhere in Europe or Mexico, or I don't know. You're going to have to just search around, but do not do business in China right now. It's going to come back and bite you hard. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so much for our celebration. Thanks, Chester.
I'm just telling you, dude. China's not. It's in a real difficult situation right now.
China is here, Mr. Burton.
China is here, Mr. Burton. What the hell does that even mean? China is here.
China is here.
Big trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
Well, we had a request from the chat to cover the Lucent. This is from Michael Bancroft, and if anybody doesn't recognize the title. Michael is also the guy who does the Ricky Gervais style cartoons where he takes clips from Ethan's show or the Jack show, and then he does the Ricky Gervais style animation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, this is one of the campaigns that I have definitely had my eye on.
So he's about midway through, is that right? His campaign?
Yeah, got 15 days left.
Yeah, we need to
And he's funded. It looks good too. I saw this one as well, Joe.
Yeah,
this up quite a bit. Yeah, he needs to double those numbers. Yeah,
it's interesting.
I really like this. I like this style. And everything. The only thing I don't like is maybe his skin tones, but everything else I like how he's coloring this, the backgrounds and everything, and the moodiness. It's really good.
Well,
And
I think the skin tones on the cover art have some green in it, right? So he's trying to incorporate the environment colors into it. Are they all like that, or is it just the cover?
Well, he's got a story device going on where there's a real world aesthetic and then there's a dream world aesthetic, and the story moves in between the two. So,
well, keep scrolling. Are there any interiors? Because I want to see the skin color.
Yeah,
look at that. That's pretty.
So here you can see more of the greens, but you've also got the orange and purple.
See. Oh, go back up. No, go back. See right there. No. Right, go the building, Joe.
Building, okay, got it.
There we go. All right. I love the fact that obviously across. Yes, exactly. You can see the hero standing on the other building. That's clever. I like it.
And also, it's storytelling. If you look at where the vanishing point is, all those buildings kind of converge into a vanishing point that leads your eye into the panel, and that little open space between the buildings, that's where your eye goes. It would go there with her or without her. So he's already basically laid the page out to attract you right into that silhouette reflection.
It's
on
awesome.
That window. Yeah, it's really tasty.
And I love how he's put that figure right on the horizon line.
It's tasty.
Yeah.
And then so then here's kind of a reverse.
It's
a pullback on it,
yeah. Oh, she was the one that was the reflection. Got it.
Yeah, you can see how he's got more of the browns, the reds, but then back to what Todd you were saying with the blues and the greens, and you can see
that works at night. I just thought his skin tones were a little yellowy, greeny in normal lighting.
Wow.
Yeah, and it may be something he may have been going for. We don't know until we get the book in our hands. So
it's pretty. I love it, man. This is a good looking book.
And Michael is another one-man band similar to Narwhal.
Yeah.
Michael Bancroft is doing the writing, the line art, the color art, the lettering. Narwhal, Kyung Lee. We've got a few multi-skilled creators.
Yeah, it does. Sketchman said it has kind of like a cell shaded feel. There's some of those shots it does have a little bit of like a cell shaded feel to it.
And Obama went down.
I'll tell you what, man. If this stuff that's going on keeps coming out, he might go down.
Hey, speaking of one-man band creators, Zach, I meant to ask you: are you lettering your book?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, screw everybody else. I'm doing it myself.
No, if I could afford it.
Well, I mean, Art's doing the whole chrono mechanics thing himself, aren't you?
Writing, penciling, inking, but the coloring and the lettering, I'm contracted out.
He's spreading the love.
He is spreading the love.
Unlike Zach, who's like, it's mine.
Hey, I commissioned a lot of other people for art. Actually, there's 4 pages that are not me. They're another artist.
Yeah, Bob.
Precious.
Yep, Bob.
Well, wait, go back. So her skin color is she's got some healthy skin color.
No one can touch my precious, only me.
Although Spectre's, he's back in the greens, and so
right.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if this is like a story element or something, like
probably to establish that it's at night, so he's probably trying to get a night-ish look to things.
You know, like
It's a great looking book, though.
Yeah, kind of like how they did like with the Matrix, like green was always something kind of permeating everything. That's a cool cover, man. That's nice.
Yeah.
I'm liking that.
Yeah.
I love those line art picks and pieces like that, man.
Yeah, I like black and white art as well.
This is one of the stretch goals, and looks like he's going to be coloring this up.
Very cool. Very, very cool. I like it's almost like eyes in the back.
Do we have anyone else, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, man.
So I don't know, Art, did you want to show Sean Murphy's campaign or
No, I don't think he needs
Okay.
He's doing well.
Yeah,
So
he's fine.
the last request we got from the chat that I saw was
Yes.
for Xenotype.
Xenotype. Yeah.
The artist on this book started when he was 19. He just turned 20 recently. And it's almost unfair how good he is at such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is amazing looking stuff, and I'm happy for Liam too because, because when Liam first came out, 2 years ago, I mean, he basically just vomited all over everything.
Yeah,
right.
He's still doing that.
But he did, and he recovered to the point that he has a $50,000 comic book sitting right in front of you. So good on him, dude.
He's
Because
bad
the kid
voice
always
for
had hustle
CG,
top.
though.
He had
He's
a lot
bad
of hustle.
voice for CG. He's
Well,
not the
yeah,
voice you want.
No. But I'm just saying, I mean, because I thought for sure he shot himself in the face and there was no way back from it. But he found a way back.
yeah.
That's
and
cool, dude.
That cityscape, and if you scroll down, that black and white artwork for that cityscape, that's really nice.
It is.
That's
Yeah.
classic, manga.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of Blade Runner.
I think I think he's pulling a lot from Cyberpunk.
Some of the city scenes that I've looked at.
But yeah, interesting stuff. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so for anybody in the chat who's interested in manga and has not seen this campaign, go check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. Liam is interesting. I do like Liam. when he invited me on that show, that it just turned into a cluster F with what was it, Ro, Kabir,
and John.
Well, also with Anna and the
yeah.
thing. That was I dodged a bullet on that. And then I remember I messaged Liam and I said, I dodged a bullet, man. And he goes, did you? He goes, it was good for ratings. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, wait, this book's going to be colored? No, don't color it.
No, don't color that book.
Yeah, that's
No,
what I
agree.
said. Black and white.
I
Black and
think
white,
he's
man.
offering both.
Yeah, no, don't color this. Don't color this. It depends. If you get someone like a Brightweiser on it, maybe it would be all right. But nah, don't color that book, dude.
Yeah, with all those gray tones and stuff, it seems like it would just be fighting itself. Like why do all the gray tone if you're just going to color it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he did put a thing in there where it was like you could choose either or.
A variable. Yeah, I don't want to get into critiquing people's Indiegogo page, but I really, really like the black and white stuff.
Yeah.
Let me scroll back up here. I think he's offering
Two different versions.
unless I just misread it.
Plus.
The manga variant, I think, is the one that's supposed to be in black and white.
Okay. So that manga variant where you can get it in black and white and it'll read from right to left.
Oh, interesting. Like from back to front, I guess.
Yeah. Or you can get I think it's
That's
this one
fine.
up here where
Which
it'll
is
be
the color.
colored and read from left to right.
Oh, very good, man. So where is he? He's in demand right now. So check it out. Support Comicsgate's own Liam Gray. The artwork looks amazing, and he's coming up on 50K. So we have some people in the chat that wanted us to do a Carlo Rose book and also Oddity, or what is it, Oddity?
Oddity?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oddity, is that coming out? We talked to them a long time ago.
Yeah.
I
Art,
think it's in demand.
could you highlight me real quick? I just want to give these guys a shout out. I know these two. They're a really nice couple.
In the chat here, or
No, I'm sharing my screen out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is the Grim Reaper. This is John Gallagher and Carla Tornielli. I'm butchering the crap out of her name. Really, really nice couple. Hardcore CG guys, and the art style is a little more, as you can see here, it's a little bit more simplistic. But Carla does amazing colors. She does fantastic colors, and she's and just two really, really good people. This is a smaller book. They funded it 5,646. Just wanted to give them a shout out because, like I said, they're good people, and like I said, Carla's got some legit skills. So if you got what's up?
I was gonna say, let's celebrate good artwork. Yeah. So
Yeah, absolutely.
More the merrier.
And it's affordable too, because they've got like if you just wanted to take a look at it, you can get the digital for just $7.
So wait, I gotta ask. Do you guys know what this is? 60 shipping?
Oh, it's for the Xenotype. It's because it's out of Australia.
Yeah, the shipping.
No,
the shipping is
insane.
Big time.
It's
yeah,
insane. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's,
Oh my gosh.
that's right.
So a lot
That's
of that,
why
he's up
Go
so
ahead.
high. It's because $60 for shipping.
yeah.
That's a
Well,
shame.
Well, the thing is, I don't know what he's thinking, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but we've had this conversation several times on my show. When you're making stuff from outside of America, get a hold of an American printer, have it published there, and then spend a very much smaller fee to get it distributed. A lot of those companies will, like Ninja, will do that for you. What are you doing?
Well, maybe he can like we had Zach, 3D Zach on today. Maybe maybe he can contact Zach and get something going there.
Well, the thing is, if the backers are cool with it, that's all that matters, right? I mean, you take it to the people, and if the backers are fine with it, then that's all that matters. You know, we definitely, I don't know if this is Liam's first campaign, but we definitely learn as we go along. And I do know that Comicsgate, like we had 3D Zach on, there are people that are seeing the need and starting to feel the need. So I know Adam Post does a lot of things behind the scenes, and they're trying to set up different like distribution. So if you have Europe, you could get the book printed in Europe and distributed in Europe. If you have something in the Asian countries, then you can do something the same. You know, so then the shipping becomes lower, and then the production prices go down. And in time, we'll be able to pass that on to the consumers, which is definitely.
You also have Benny over in what is it, A&W Print Solutions. Those guys are doing it real cheap. They're doing a really good job. Beautiful stuff, and they can handle all kind of print runs and whatever kind of covers, whatever you want. Yeah, no, we did talk to this guy a long time ago, man.
He's been working on it for a while, but I think he's getting pretty close to completion, isn't he?
Well, how far along? Because I know it's in demand at this point, right?
Yeah. So this is the jam cover that they were waiting on for a while, where Sweens did Oddity up top, and then Ethan did Cyberfrog down below.
I wonder who did the color.
They're nice colors
here.
A very talented young man.
Yeah, someone named Critter. I hear he gets a job every now and then coloring comics.
Yeah,
more like
dude,
Crapper.
He deserves it. He's really good at it.
Yeah, I heard he just got a big bonus.
Yeah, $10,000.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
he is great colorist, dude.
In demand, and only $15 if you want just the book. 48-page graphic novel.
And he's at 22K, over 22K or 21K, almost 20.
Yeah,
426 backers, which means if he can start getting this up a little bit, he'll be able to pay for the entire campaign and maybe make a little bit of scratch in the form of profit. These books are really expensive, you guys. And what you need to remember when you see that total, that's also with shipping.
Right.
So when you see that total, that's got shipping. And so the shipping comes out of that. And then the 7% goes to Indiegogo as well. So that's before you pay your creative team and your printing. So there's another guy that's in, what is it? He's Comicsgate. Is it Gulma?
Gulma.
That's another guy. Yeah,
Is that a guy with that? I don't know.
That guy. Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Really young.
You should mention that.
He's got a potty mouth, and he needs to learn to respect his elders, right, Chester?
That's right. He does, but that's okay. as the father figure here, it is my responsibility to educate the man, and I'm on it.
Well, it just so happens we have the young, disrespectful lad here. Maybe he can talk up his own book.
And Chester, you strike me as the kind of person.
Wait, that doesn't sound like Zach at all. That sounded
no. I just wanted to make a comment about Chester. He's you strike me as the kind of person likes educating young boys.
Oh, Lordy.
Well, if you scroll
Okay.
down,
Do I really
towards
strike
the
you
bottom, I posted up the new print that every single physical backer will be receiving because we hit a stretch goal.
Dude, the art is so good. We just didn't get this out to enough people, man.
Yeah.
This
It's
should
still in
have made
demand.
you 30-40 grand. It should have.
Still in demand.
You should be
It's
right
beautiful.
in there.
It still can. It still can, Chester.
Yeah,
It still can, but I'm
But
just,
look,
you know what I'm saying, because
wait,
it's
there we
really
go.
killer. And one thing that Zach did, I'm going to shut up in a second, Zach, but one thing that he did was he had the original run of it, and it was fine, but he went back and redid it, and it's better, and
Yeah.
it's really, really good.
Well, look at this. Like, holy
Yeah.
crap, man. That's beautiful.
Well, I didn't do this. This is actually a friend of mine that I commissioned.
Well, in that case, it sucks. Who did this?
Yeah, it's horrible. We get it off the screen.
My good friend Mario Velasquez. I've known him for a really long time, and
Well,
I
he's got a
wanted-
long ways to go, Zach.
uh,
Well, I can't heckle you, Zach, so I have to heckle your friend.
I'd rather you heckle me. He's such a sweetheart.
No.
Uh,
This is a great piece of artwork. I'm just having some fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And every
Well-
single physical backer gets one of these. So I'm excited that I was able to pull that off because I've wanted to commission him forever. And it's just like this crazy opportunity that everybody that backed me gave that I was able to help him out.
You know,
So-
I Borrow Ideas has a good point, Zach. Did you go on Ethan's show?
No, he's never invited me, and I've tried to get on. I've tried to get on with Malin, but he doesn't want to talk to me at all. So
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I've been nothing but nice, but I got caught in the crossfire of exactly when Mike and Malin went head to head on,
Oh,
and
I
got
was a
caught
little bit of
exactly
a
in the middle.
victim of that as
Yeah.
well when Comicsgate was being split.
Yeah.
And so I kind of know what you're talking about. But I'll tell you, Zach, just start pronouncing more like your Comicsgate. You'll get those guys and they'll start supporting
Yeah.
you.
And for everybody
But I know
who's in the
it's
chat
really-
right now, you could still back this book.
Yeah,
you can. And the art demands attention. It just, even though the name sucks balls, the art demands attention.
Oh God! You know what? With friends like us, Zach doesn't need enemies.
That's
My
right.
God.
That's right.
You guys suck. I'm going home.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's
I'm just saying
great
what he says. He says it sucks balls. That's his referencing.
Who
It's
said
a
it?
part of-
sucks balls?
That's how he say it. That's how he sells it. He says it's the comic book with the horrible name but good art. That's
I
right.
didn't say it. I said funny name. Funny.
Oh no.
That's fine.
Okay. Well, I transliterated a little.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
little-
he-
Freudian slip.
Why is it only Joe gets that joke? Damn it.
Because Joe's evil too.
Whiskey. This is.
Wait. We gotta stop on some. Look at this.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous, dude. It's
Yeah.
freaking gorgeous. Yeah.
And Whiskey was asking if that was a variant cover, and he said he doesn't see that on the Indiegogo page. If you go to the link I dropped in there, man, you just keep scrolling down, you'll find it.
One of the things that I really liked, Zach, that you've done with this book, and I think it works really well with your painted style or your painted aesthetic you've decided to go with, is how instead of the traditional panel outlines and panel shapes, you're able to just paint everything, and you use, you compose your page so that you've got, for example, this piece of cloth that's part of her, what she's doing down here, but it also doubles as the panel break.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
we've got this right here,
Mhm.
but then these doors or gates or whatever they are serve as, the panel break here. So I really like the way you've been laying out these compositions.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
very
really
smart.
good.
Yeah.
One thing I was doing is actually I started doing it more traditionally, where there was like boxes and stuff like that. But what it was doing, it was killing all the painterly flow of all the strokes. So it's like it was kind of more of not so much like that I chose to do that, as much as like it just started making everything, all the looseness and all the energy, it just started killing it. Because it would just like any sort of hard stops anywhere was just killing the flow of the painterly style. So it's like on some of the things it's kind of working. There's a few pages where I do have a box here and there, but it's only because it's like I need that to be like a window of something you're looking into. But,
it's gorgeous, and if you guys want a truly one of a kind Comicsgate book, this is it for you, man. This your color. I don't know if it's color theory or whatever, but the way you compose things and the way you combine your colors, it's absolutely stunning. There's quite an education here. The drawing's really good, and the concept. I remember you were talking about the concept earlier on another show, and it's a really interesting idea. So you guys, please get out back. Zach Bradley's book, Goma. It's got a lot of goodies, a lot of fun stuff here.
Yeah. And something else it does, Art, that is for my people like me. I much prefer the superheroic proportion in illustration. I prefer it. And Zach doesn't do that. He does life proportion, I would guess I don't know what you call it. But he sells me on it. Because normally when I see that, I'm like, I'd rather have superhero proportion, but I love it, dude. It's really good.
Well, do you guys remember, like, Chester and I are a little older, but the old heavy metal stuff, and there'd be like pen and ink stuff, but then there'd be like one story that was all painted, and you go, holy shit, this is cool. This is the comic.
Like Louis Royo.
Louis Royo. Oh God. Yeah, I mentioned him earlier.
Simon Bisley, man. Like Bisley's
did you just say that I've never heard of Louis Royo?
No, I was talking to Todd.
Oh.
I was gonna say I was gonna reach through this camera and slap somebody.
I was about to say. No, I grew up on heavy metal magazines, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But, Spirit Car said, what's the 2-minute pitch? Zach, give us the 2-minute pitch, man.
2-minute pitch. Post-apocalyptic world. 3 heroes have to save it. There's lots of adventure, lots of schemes and scams. There's a lot of.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of a deep innuendo of like secrets. I wouldn't say innuendo of sex, but there is that too. There's plenty of sexiness to it, but there's a lot of deep secrets and whatnot, and there's a lot of lore that's embedded in it, and I cannot wait to have this in my hands and giving it to people, because I know that this is going to be something extremely special.
That's very cool.
Well, what is Goma? What is it? A location? Is it a person? What is Goma?
Goma is the world that they live in.
Okay.
It wasn't always Goma. The previous civilization called it something else, but they call it Goma for a very specific reason, and that's revealed in the book as well. So there's a lot of cool things that are very subtle that are placed throughout the world and throughout the story that I get excited when I draw and paint it and write it. So
that's cool.
Yeah, we gotta get you laser focused on that pitch, man. You get like bam, bam, bam. Go for it.
It's
like, you have a critic. You have a critic, Zach.
Yeah,
that's great.
Fair enough, Spirit's Car, but it's gorgeous art. No, you can't deny that.
Like this book, I'm sorry, this book actually reminds me of like one of my favorite books being put out right now is a comic called Die, D-I-E, exclamation point.
Yeah. That's a good book.
One. Yeah, this art style reminds me very much of that. So very cool, man.
Yeah, very cool. Yep, very nice.
Yeah, don't worry, Spirit Scar. I know my pitch sucks. I'm not.
We'll learn you.
Yeah, I get learned.
One of these days.
How many pages is it, man? How many pages?
Right now it's over 100.
What?
Over 100 pages.
Wow.
Of that art level of art? Oh, damn, dude.
Yeah, well, it was 100 pages, and then I fudged pretty hard, and then I had to add about 20 pages.
Get this boy some money. He's gonna need it.
So
Yeah, you gotta need it, dude.
well, no, the printer that I've been talking to has been giving me a really good quote on it, so it's not unaffordable what I'm doing. So, and also I don't depend on this for income, so this is literally like I got to do a passion project. So I'm trying to make the best damn thing I could possibly make.
That's cool, dude.
So I'm not. Whenever there's something that's messed up, I'm going back and fixing it. And there's nothing that is too small for me to fix, because I want to make sure this is something that once it gets into your like Albino just backed it, and I'm excited for him to see it and everything.
Yeah.
And
well, you know, and it's really good.
Yeah, it's one of the books that I thought I had backed at least 3 times, and every time I checked and see what I did and didn't, I went, what? I still haven't backed it. I got to do it before the show. I've told Zach at least 3 times I'm backing him. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting this one.
Well, I can't believe somebody remembers John Bolton.
Yeah, I remember John Bolton. I love John Bolton.
Yeah.
But that picture you showed, is that a print? Is that the 3K stretch goal? With her when she was in red.
Yeah, that was the 3K stretch goal, and we hit the 5K, which is Carl Rowe suggested for me. Is I have a bunch of concept art and sketches and things that didn't get to make it into this, as well as fan art, and I did a price check to see how much it would cost to make like 200 copies of kind of like an Ashcan sketchbook, and it was totally reasonable. So I'm doing that too. So
did I back you yet?
No.
Really? No way. I of course back you.
Booster.
Huh?
Oh my God, Chester, you punk ass.
Jesus.
Yeah, very cool, man. Very cool, and hopefully we get some more eyes on your stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually praise.
Now, hold on. How come I can't back it? What's going on?
Because
So hey, I got a.
I'm sorry, Todd. What were you gonna say, Todd?
I got a story to tell, but I'll wait.
Yeah, so Zach was cool enough on a Pontificators Live to show me this piece of artwork. So this is the great Zach Bradley. I show this thing off every chance I can, Zach. I'm so flattered that you came up with it and that you did it. And we made it into the black and white 25th anniversary trading card. So this will be for the pre-launch page, the black and white Second Chance Volume 1 pre-sign-up or pre-launch page. So if you go there, it's in the description. Sign up, and you will be eligible for this card. So if you back a tier, you will get this card absolutely free. So this will be the 25th anniversary commemorative card for the campaign. And the brilliant Zach Bradley was nice enough to paint this sucker up. So thank you.
Great faces.
Dude, I was flattered that you said you're like, can I use this for a card? And I was like, no way, you want to use my art?
Dude, this would be great as a friggin' alternate cover too.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Art, can you bring up my share screen, please? Can you bring that up?
Yeah, Todd, what were you gonna say, man?
Absolutely not.
No, wait.
Okay.
What do you mean absolutely not?
Is this
now okay? Now I thought for sure I already backed this, but I guess I didn't. All right, I'm back. This is what I'm backing. I'm backing this one, Zach. So walk me through this. Now, what do I got to do here? It says select your options. What are my options selecting here?
It's just basically like you select one of each.
So can I just do one of each, right?
Yeah, you could just do, unless there's like you want multiple copies of the
Weldon.
same one.
God damn, we gotta see Weldon.
I like Weldon.
That was a joke. Shut up.
Oh,
How do you pronounce her name? CEA.
Siege.
Siege?
She's a great artist. So we got Siege, we got Weldon, we got Zach, and we got Brad. Is that Ashworth?
Yeah, Brad Ashworth.
Oh, Jesus, dude, that's nice. All right, so that's all I need to do, right?
Yeah, that's all you need to do.
Okay, I'm gonna click on it.
It's gonna show us your info. You might be careful.
Oh my God! Don't look at my stuff. What are you doing?
my name is
Dox
Chester.
yourself.
I'm a
Just
boomer.
dox yourself.
Art's like, I'm done with this crap.
All right, thank you, Art. All right, good. I got it done then. Yeah, no, that's right. And then, ooh, that's right. Yeah, Don't look at my Visa number. What are you doing? All right.
So
I got.
I want to enlist you guys' help and maybe even the audience, because we had a meeting, a Florida Man meeting. It was over a month ago. We have them every Saturday, but this one was over a month ago. And remember, I wanted to convince Mike to put in an acid trip or some kind of dream sequence or something like that. And so they bought the idea of adding action, and they added wrestling. But originally, I swear they said mud wrestling. So I had it in my head for a whole month, mud wrestling, mud wrestling. I've probably talked about it with you guys. Now, I want you guys to contact Mike and say, because to me, it makes sense, right? Mud wrestling, these people are Florida. They're hog killing.
No, it
mud
doesn't make sense at
wrestlers.
all. I worked in strip clubs in Florida. They don't use mud at all. I can
He's
help you out
worked in
here.
all of them, Todd. He's
I
worked in
did.
all
No,
of them.
it's oil wrestling. It's not mud wrestling.
No. Never mind.
What?
Sorry.
What are we doing? I'm lost.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
I was just trying to help them out, man. I
I don't know,
spent
maybe
12
I-
years in the strip industry, man. I
Maybe
know.
Maybe
Ain't
I had
no
a little
mud,
bit
it's
too much,
oil.
but damn.
What's Todd sharing now? What is this?
What's going on?
Who's sharing this?
I don't know. It's not me.
What? Where'd he
And he
go?
left.
happened?
Yes, and that's
I
the perfect time
I
to
am
end it.
legitimately lost at this point. I was typing something in and I wasn't really paying attention.
Oh
Yeah.
man, we lost Todd. What the
Oh, that's
heck?
okay.
Thanks,
We
Chester.
need to wrap it up anyway. It's 3 hours and 10 minutes, dude.
All right, man. Well, yeah, go back all these books. This is a celebration, you guys. Comicsgate and this indie scene is cleaning up. We're getting these books done, and we're getting them right into people's hands, shipping them out, and just celebrating this crazy comics industry that we know and love. So thanks to everybody, all my Pontificator buddies. Thanks for the super chat. Thanks to everybody in the chat, and we'll see you all next week.
Yeah, and because he's not here, I went ahead and dropped a link in there for Florida Man. So
Now,
All
what
right.
a nice
Oh, you're so
Bob.
nice.
He's
All right,
so
there you go.
sweet.
Here you go for you, Todd. And if we offended you, I apologize, man, because I was really going to put the spotlight on.
I don't apologize at all.
Well, I apologize for you, Chester.
Okay.
I don't apologize for myself because I didn't do anything. All right. So very good, you guys. We'll see you next week. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Ta-ta.